One place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions with my brother from the same mother, D. D, what is going on?
What is going on? I'm ready to answer some YouTube questions today.
Yeah, what's happening? Good.
I'm ready. It was a long week, but I'm back.
Good. I'm going to be throwing some your way.
Oh.
Give myself a break and just being like, hey, D, how about you take this one?
That's a first because, you know, since we've been back, I don't think that's happened once.
It has. It has.
I don't remember that.
But hey, it's okay. It's okay. But yeah. I'm throwing them your way today.
Early stage Alzheimer's is hitting already.
Yeah, it's kicking in.
How's everybody doing?
I hope everybody's doing fantastic. Excited to get the stream rolling today. I hope everybody's had a fantastic week, a nice productive week. Hope everybody's channels are going fantastically. If this is your first time here, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be answering your YouTube questions. So if you have a question about what it is that you are doing on YouTube, anything that you've ran into, anything you're trying to figure out, or anything like that, there's a form where you can put your question down in the description of this stream right now. And if you get it in there, just based on the amount of responses that we currently have, if you can get it down there, then we'll get it answered on the stream today. So if you have a question, make sure you get it in there now so we can get it answered, especially, you know, for those of you that are showing up early, because you're going to be right up here at the very front of the queue.
I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell me about some of this AI that you've been working on.
Okay. So what would you like to know?
Just talk about it. Tell me the tools you're using. He's been sending me some unbelievable videos.
Well, I can't tell you the tools because that blows the video that I'm publishing.
Okay. He's been showing me some videos of a new video that he's been working on.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you're not going to spoil it?
Yeah, so some of the stuff that you
can do.
Moving
on. Today's stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy.
Right. Yeah, some of the stuff that you can do with this now is absolutely incredible. We can change ourselves. We can, you know, clone ourselves. We can, you know, make our audio sound pretty much any way that we want. Like it's just incredible what we can do with this stuff. But I have a video coming out about it this coming week. I'm almost done with it. Been putting a lot of time into this one just to, you know, explain through the visualization of what it is that you're able to do with this particular video. But you guys are gonna love it.
It's nuts. Yeah. It is insane.
It is. It's absolutely crazy.
You're not going to believe what this video looks like and the stuff that you're going to be able to do with AI. And it's not really hard to do.
No, it's easy. You just type it in. Yep, type it in, or you make a video and upload that video, and then it'll convert everything for you. Yeah, different options based on what you're trying to do. But yeah, it's incredible.
Prepare to have your mind blown.
Yep, socks blown off.
Socks blown off.
Yep, completely off. Yeah. So on that note, today's stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy will help you optimize your videos for discovery. TubeBuddy will help you test your thumbnails to make sure that the thumbnails that you're making are effective for the people that you're trying to reach. TubeBuddy will help you. The shorts links are going away here in just a couple days, folks.
Oh, that's
TubeBuddy will help you actually go in and find the links that you currently have and replace them with text that will drive people to your channel page. They have a tool for that and all kinds of other tools that will help you with your channel. But you can try out 90 different tools that TubeBuddy offers for content creators in their YouTube tool at tubebuddy.com/Nimmin. So you can see what TubeBuddy can do for you. And in addition to that, this stream is brought to you by, and really quick, I'm going to be live streaming on the TubeBuddy YouTube channel this coming Wednesday as well. And I'm going to be live streaming on the StreamYard channel on Tuesday. So make sure that you are subscribed to both of those channels so that you can be there for those live streams as well. But this stream is brought to you by StreamYard, which is the tool that we use to stream this every single Saturday. The reason that we use StreamYard is because it's easy to use. It's easy to bring on guests. It's easy to add graphics to the screen. And they have amazing coffee mugs. Would you agree with that, D?
Yeah. The only reason I'm still using StreamYard.
The coffee mugs.
It's the coffee mug.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just kidding. It's look, if you're going live on a computer, it's the easiest way to actually get up and broadcast.
Yeah.
It is super simple. If you've never streamed before, this is the easiest way to get started on your computer, hands down.
Absolutely. And they also make it really easy just to bring on guests. And they have some hidden features that people don't really talk about a lot. One of them is they actually hold your stream open for you in the cloud. So let's say while we're streaming right now, let's say that this stream went down. Say the internet went down, the power went down or flickered or something like that. We ended up losing the connection. StreamYard holds the stream open for, I think it's 10 or 15 minutes. And then that gives us time to be able to come back in on our phone or something like that and keep the show rolling while we're getting everything, you know, fired back up again. So there's that. And they also record your streams in the background. So since they're recording your streams in the background, let's say you want to repurpose your content. And this AI video that I have coming up, I actually show you how to do that really easily with just like a few clicks. But in that particular case, you can just download the streams directly out of StreamYard, and then you can upload them elsewhere. You can make whatever, shorts or clips that you want, and then you can start, putting those out all over social media if you choose to do that. So lots of great features with StreamYard as well. You can try them out at StreamYard.com, and we've got links down in the description for that as well.
Translated for the layman out there, if a group of mercenaries were to break in and kidnap you and hold you hostage and take you offline, StreamYard would actually keep streaming your stream the entire time, as long as you didn't lose the internet connection, as long as YouTube didn't go down, or wherever you're streaming to, Rumble, Kick, wherever, Facebook.
Multicasting. I forgot to mention that as well.
They would keep your stream up until your family actually paid the ransom. You got out, you came back, and you came online to tell everybody that you were free. You would still be streaming.
Yeah, as long as that happens within like 10 to 15 minutes, because that's the limit. Yeah. So but if we work in like movie time, then we got that covered, no problem at all. Yeah. So it's like, hey, here we're there. Next minute, everything's we're safe and we're back home and we're streaming.
Yeah. Whew, that was close, guys.
Yeah, it was close.
Whew.
Yeah, it was close.
Can't believe that happened again.
Yep, again. Yeah, it's the third time this week.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's,
you got what I'm trying to say there.
So let's get to the real YouTube questions here. From Adventures with Time says, how much would the ransom actually be? It's a good question.
That's a great question.
It is a great question.
How much would the ransom? Here's the thing. If anyone, Mom, I know you're watching this, but if anyone ever calls Mom and says, I've got one or both of your sons. No, let's just say, I've got your oldest son.
I've got the son you care the most about.
I've got
there you go.
Yeah, I've got your actual blood son, and you need to send us money. She's going to pay it, whatever it costs.
Yep. At least $50. At least $50, maybe 100.
Yeah,
maybe 100. Yeah.
Call about him. I've got your youngest son.
Yeah, she just hang up the phone. Like, I'm not falling for that again. I'm not falling for that.
Hold on, baby. Are we gonna order pizza tonight?
These guys on the phone asking something about like pizza and ransom or something. I don't know. I don't know. We'll call them back. Yeah. Anyway. So
it's gonna be one of those streams.
Let's go ahead and get into the questions. See, what do you think?
Let's go.
All right. So the really quick, as we're getting into this, if you are just joining this, and if this is your first time here, the whole reason that we do this is to kind of help you demystify YouTube, because as a content creator, there's a lot of moving parts that go into this. There's a lot of questions that you're going to run into along the way. So basically, we spend the next about 2.5 to 3 hours sitting here answering questions based on the questions that you have and that you submit to us. So because of that, if you have a question about anything that you're trying to figure out about YouTube, make sure that you put it in the form that is down in the description below. It's free to do. Thanks to our sponsors, TubeBuddy and StreamYard, and the other channel sponsors as well. So if you do have any questions, make sure you put them down in the form.
And that's also on my channel as well. So people watching on my channel, it's also linked down in the description there.
Yes.
And Traveling with Brian says StreamYard is mercenary protected.
Yep. That's good. It's like a whole other layer.
Right. Yeah. That's like an extra little stamp at the bottom of the StreamYard page.
We protect you from mercenaries.
Mercenary protected. Hostage protected.
That's good. That's
there
good.
You go.
That's good. Yeah, so if we haven't limited our promotion yet, let's just keep on. Let's keep at it.
Yeah, StreamYard, man, we got business to do.
So next up on the list, or the first up, I should say, on the list is Us Plus Dad. Us Plus Dad. They do daily content. The type of channel is Roblox and roleplay, and the goal of the channel is to create interactive Roblox community. And the question is, when we reply to comments on YouTube mobile app, it gives us the @ plus their YouTube name option, but on Mobile Studio and desktop, it doesn't. Does the viewer still get notified either way? Just by us replying to the comment. We like using desktop as it's easier to get their actual name and make it more personal. Thank you for all that you do, and I'll see you at VidSummit. So first off, looking forward to seeing you at VidSummit. Second off, so when you reply to comments, people get notifications, but not everybody actually checks those notifications. But if they do get a reply, then you do get that, notification. But a lot of times people, if they're active commenters on YouTube, some people, really get into it, and they'll be checking their notifications all the time, just to have those conversations. But for other people, not so much, especially if they're commenting on a lot of videos, getting a lot of feedback and that kind of stuff. But absolutely, that does give them the option. And of course, in terms of it like showing up on their phones and things like that, that's all going to come down on their settings and if they have notifications enabled inside of YouTube and on their devices and all of that stuff. But in terms of just generally, yes, when you reply to a comment, then that goes out.
We need Travis to make a super chat ransom sound.
Oh, yeah, right.
Right? And as they were saying in the chat, if somebody calls Mom, she's going to be like, deliver the play button, or you can have him.
Right. That's the cost.
That's the cost.
Right, that's the cost.
We've got Nick. Does he have D's play button?
Nope.
All right, you can have him.
Right. So Build with Mooney is the next channel. They do woodworking content. The goal of the channel is to share and teach. The question is there one piece of data that you look at on your channel to improve and stay consistent? So for me,
good question.
Yeah, it's more than just one, thing that I'm looking at. So I always just look to see the general response that people are giving to each individual video, so I can use that information for later videos that I'm going to make. But other things as well, like I'll also keep track on like what content types are performing. Like right now, for example, I'm testing some AI content, seeing how everybody responds to that, and I have those in an individual group. So as I continue to make more of those, then I'm going to start comparing them against some of the other content just to see the difference in response. So yeah, basically just keeping track on the specific content that people respond to, and then of course looking at my audience retention, looking to see where my views are coming from. In terms of the traffic sources specifically, like am I getting most of my views for a particular video? Am I getting that from home pages? Am I getting it from suggested videos? Am I getting it from search? And does that align with what I was hoping for with that video or what I was trying to do with that video? Those are the types of things that I look at. And then as part of that also, I look at the click-through rate, and I just look at that just to, I have the baselines on my channel. So what I do is I'll go in and, like, as an example, I'll say, okay, well, if I have 100,000 impressions and my click-through rate on home pages is less than 5%, then in that particular case, then, I might want to update that thumbnail, because in that particular scenario, based on everything else that goes on my channel, that's usually kind of like my average once I hit 100,000 impressions. And then, of course, depending on the content, that the topic of the content, it might need to be a little bit higher than that. But with a lot of the content I put out, as long as it is over 5% on home pages at 100,000 impressions, and I'm like, okay, that's cool for now. I'll check back in on it later. But I just kind of keep track of things over time that way.
Yeah, I want to add a caveat to that. I don't know where you're at along your journey, but if you're just getting started and you're just getting a handful of views on your videos, like there is a beginning point to where you're not getting a lot of information to actually make data-informed decisions. So if you're just getting 20 views, I don't know. At what point would you say somebody should really start digging into their analytics?
Well, I think you should start digging into your audience retention like right away.
Right away for audience retention.
Yeah, right away,
like
because
some of the more advanced features.
When it comes to grouping and stuff, you need enough content to group.
Yeah.
So because of that, if you're starting out, and you're being strategic about it. And let's say you're like, hey, I'm going to make like 10 videos on this, and then 10 videos on this, then I'm going to compare them and see the responses, the content set. Then that 5 videos or 10 videos that you compare against each other is fine, as long as you're getting views on them. If you're not getting views, if you're still stuck at 20 views a video, then in that particular case, just look at your audience retention reports. And even with your click-through rate, because even with your audience retention reports, it doesn't tell you a lot, because you've only had 20 people interacting with it, which isn't enough really.
And like 5 of them could have been your buddies,
right?
That you shared your video with,
right? But it can help you identify things that you might be doing wrong, to where it's like, okay, well, out of the 20 people that I did have respond to this, everybody bailed within the first like 15 seconds, right? It's like red flag. Okay, well, why do I think they bailed in that particular case? So, giving yourself enough views is definitely something that you want to do. But I would say, 500 views would be, about a fair place.
Yeah.
And then once you start hitting 1,000, then you can start getting, a little bit more, accuracy, so to speak, with what it is that you're working. And then the more, things scale out from there, the more accurate your interpretations can become.
Yeah, there's no real hard line on that. One thing I've told people in the past is, so when you're getting started, YouTube generally doesn't have enough information on who your audience is yet. So there's an area where they tell you when your audience is online. And if you're new,
it doesn't even show up.
That doesn't show up.
Yeah.
So what I told people in the past is when that shows up.
When that shows up.
When that shows up, that means YouTube understands your audience.
Yeah, that's good.
So that might be a good time to start digging into deeper analytics.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Very good. So next
super chat. Whoa, almost knocked some coffee into the road.
That would have been a great start, right?
And we would have done that live.
Yeah.
Super chat. iPhone Chris. Oh my God.
Yeah, iPhone Chris. Thank you for the super chat. Super appreciate it, man.
I feel like this is a bad place.
Yeah, it probably is.
But this is probably also a bad place.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give Starbucks free promotion.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn the cup around.
Yeah. Or just hide it behind the StreamYard cup, I guess. Yeah, or heck,
But then I risk.
We could get crazy and just pour it into the StreamYard cup. I mean, we could go out on the edge.
But
just
kind
of do that.
Where would I put the whiskey?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. In the StreamYard cup with the coffee.
There you
for
go.
the blend.
It's called an Irish coffee, isn't it?
I have no idea.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's water.
Yeah, I'm not an
Agua.
alcoholic, D. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so next up on the list,
Me neither.
we have, yeah, D's not either. I'm just kidding. So next up on the list, I'm waiting for this to load. What's up, Doug? Hope you're doing awesome, man. Nice seeing you in here today.
You're on question 4, right?
Question 3.
Question 3.
Yep, we got trying to learn bikes. Sorry about that. Been on YouTube for a year or more. Motorcycle maintenance. The goal of the channel is to help others with DIY motorcycle maintenance. And the question is, will YouTube allow me to post the same video on 2 channels if I keep one listed as private and one listed as public? Thank you in advance. So that's a really good question. And when it comes to duplicate content, that will probably show up in your own copyright area. So
YouTube
because of that. The what?
You think YouTube would have a problem if it kept one private?
No, I don't think so. Because it could show up in the copyright area, and as long as you don't, lean your own copyright against it,
right.
Yeah, because it would be actually as a private video, it probably won't even show up anyway. So yeah, you're probably okay. Like with YouTube, they're finicky about stuff like that. Like in most cases, it would probably be fine. But there's also, because like. When those types of things happen, it's automated, right? So basically, it's just their system detecting stuff. So because of that, it's always a risk when those types of things happen, or when you're doing those types of things. But I think that you would be okay. Just proceed with caution. If possible, I would try to modify it in some way or something like that, just to add that extra layer of, security there, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. Or if you're doing it for the sake of archiving, then in that particular case, I would just upload it into Google Drive or, something like that, so then you can keep it that way.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to have it private anyway.
If you are uploading it privately to a second account, maybe put something in the title and in the description that just says archive.
Yeah.
Archive video and the number of the video. So in the event you do have to reach out to YouTube support.
There's context.
And you said, hey, I was just hit for duplicate content, and they need to go in and look at the other account. And you're like, hey, I was just archiving these. I'm not publishing these. I have no intention to publish these. Maybe that will give you a little wiggle room with them. It should be okay, but YouTube happens.
Hey, so Brian says Irish coffee is the best. Amazing Out Destination also says Irish coffee as well. So yeah, it is Irish coffee.
There we go.
Yep. So next up on the list here, we've got Playing the Mom Game. The type of channel is decluttering, organizing, and lifestyle content. The goal of the channel is to help people keep things simple, practical tips.
Do you travel?
What?
Do you travel? I know. I need somebody. I need to hire somebody to go over here. They look at an organization channel.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. It took me a minute. I'm like, what is he talking about over there? I was like, is he just pulling something out of chat, just randomly? Hey, do you travel?
No. It's you're organization. Do you travel? I need help.
So the question is,
please.
So the question is, my second to last video only got about 60 views until a few days ago, and all of a sudden there was a big spike up to 1,000 with the traffic source being YouTube advertising, but I've never paid for an ad. The geography for those views was mostly Turkey, Indonesia, and Pakistan, and the gender mostly male. I have a 100% female audience normally. To top it off now, the content suggesting my most recent video is videos with titles that don't use the English alphabet. Any idea on what the heck is going on? So it's possible. I mean, if it's tracking as YouTube advertising, then somebody did run ads on your video for some reason. So one thing that might have happened is it's possible that if you have any products or anything like that, I'm guessing since you're doing decluttering, organizing, and lifestyle tips in your content, that you're probably sharing some product recommendations and things like that. So it's absolutely possible that somebody that you're using one of their products or something, they might have ran ads on your video, and they could have done that either intentionally trying to target that region, or they could have done that mistakenly and targeted that particular region. Because one thing that people will do sometimes is when they run ads, if they don't know what they're doing, is they will run those ads and they will just go for the lowest cost. And when that happens, if they don't, say, hey, I'm trying to target this particular region and things like that, then what can happen is it can end up, being shown to, pretty much anywhere that has the lowest cost. Another part of that as well is it's also very possible. It's probably what happened. But what you should just be thinking about is that was an ad, that got ran on the video. So even though the videos that are suggesting you right now are coming in from that, you'll be able to hop right back on track and continue on as you were. I don't think, with 1,000 views on it. I think I can't remember the number because I went to the next forum, but I think maybe 800 of those were advertising. In that particular case, that's just not enough people to make like any substantial difference on like who your videos are getting shown to or anything like that.
Just in case it continues, what do you think she should can't you turn that off?
Yeah, you can turn. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Turn that off.
Yeah. So there's an option that you have to where you can actually turn off embedding on your videos. There's another option to where you can turn off people's ability to advertise on your videos. So in the event that does continue to happen, you can do that if you choose to. Next up, we got Adventures with Time. Adventures with Time.
Just maliciously thinking here, but that would, like, if you've got money to burn, you could really mess up someone's channel by doing that. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying, like, if the intent were there. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, it would depend. I
mean, if it's a smaller channel, trying to get started, trying to build momentum, and you're like, hey, here's a bunch of traffic from Turkey.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. I don't think it would be.
No offense to Turkey, it's just that the audience. Probably
that's who they mentioned. Yeah, it definitely it definitely can, but all you need is that right group of people that are responding well to it to kind of get things back on track. Though.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, absolutely though. Adventures with Time. They do watch reviews. The goal of the channel is to help collectors as a side hustle, and the question is, on my watch collecting channel, most of my videos are reviews of watches. I'm now publishing every 2 weeks. Videos where I compare watches, they get many more views than other videos. The videos where I review a single low-end watch may only get a couple of hundred views. If I only make those high-performing videos, I'd probably upload maybe once a month or every other month, given the time it takes to create those videos and to gain access to luxury watches. Does it hurt my channel if I fill in with these lower performing videos to maintain my every 2 week publishing schedule? So no, it doesn't necessarily hurt anything. The only thing that it could do is, the people that are, like subscribing to the channel and enjoying that luxury content, if they stop responding to the other content that you're publishing, then you're lowering the likelihood of YouTube recommending, the other videos to them once they do publish. So because of that, I really, I wouldn't look at it as a huge risk. Like if you're like, hey, this is going to be the difference between me being able to, upload every week or a couple times a week or waiting like a month between uploads. I would still keep doing what it is that you're doing and basically just look at the lower end watches as one bucket. And those may end up performing well for you over time. They're not doing great right now, but they may end up performing well for you over time once YouTube identifies like, hey, these people are responding to, content like that, maybe the lower end watches and stuff. And then have your luxury watches as another bucket or another content pillar where you are basically saying like, I'm serving, one type of viewer with this lower end watch content. So I'm just going to accept, what happens to that content, but I'm still going to try to make it as good as I can, still try to get people to click on it. Because if you look in the watch space, I had a friend of mine that was going to start a watch channel. So I did a lot of research in the watch space. But if you look in the watch space, those lower end watches, some of them can get crushed with views. So the audience is there for it. You're just not, connecting at this moment in time. So because of that, that you might end up doing okay with that. So I would still keep rolling with it, for the long play. But, with the luxury watches or the comparison watches, the reviews with that particular content, I, just put it out when you can. And it's likely that, when you put that out, YouTube is still going to show it to the right people that are interested in luxury and all that stuff, over time as well. So those will probably still continue to do well. So I would keep putting those out as you are, but I would still put out the other, we'll call it supplemental content, but I think that you can actually build a whole, a whole audience around that lower end stuff too. So I would keep trucking with what it is that you're doing.
Let me add something to that. So if you're doing the comparison videos, I'm going to assume that you have individual videos for them as well. Obviously, when you're putting together like your pinned comments, your end screen, links in the description, all of that stuff, you could put additional links down in even in your pinned comment or in your description to where you link out to the individual watches. So if you're like, hey, watch this comparison, you can also watch this comparison, but you can also say, here are links to the individual watches as well. And as that scales, you might end up driving some traffic to those individual videos. And like you said, long term, those might actually pick up.
And really quick, Daniel Johansson says, now we really talk about watch time. Ba-doom, bah! That would have been a good one for Danielle, right? Yeah, that's good.
She missed it.
Yeah, that's good. It's good.
Hey, Jacker Crackers, how you doing, man?
So next up on the list here, we've got the Dream Builder 21. They do automotive content. The goal of the channel says I create projects to entertain people and then to distract them from their day. And the question is, how do you spot trolls online? So that just comes down usually to them, being abrasive in some way, them being negative in some way, them doing things to try to cause you frustration and those sorts of things. But sometimes it's just somebody sharing their opinion. But if it's repeated, that's where it's like, okay, this person's clearly trying to stir up some dust here. So because of that, I'm just going to block them.
Did you know? And I learned this recently. Did you know there's a type of troll online? They call them a sea lion. Have you heard about this?
I didn't know there's labels for trolls. I'm not surprised.
But so they call them a sea lion troll. And I can't believe people actually do this. Their entire purpose is just to drag you into just an endless conversation to exhaust you.
Wow.
Like that's what they do. And they do it by being like, oh, I'm just asking questions, or I'm really curious. Like they approach it that way. I'm really curious. Can you explain? And they just keep going and keep going. And their entire purpose is to exhaust the person they're talking to.
Wow. Imagine
having so much time to waste. That's what you do with your time.
Right.
That's insane.
It is insane.
Yeah. It's called the sea lion troll.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I read that on Twitter and I was like, nobody's doing that. And I looked it up and I was like, oh my God.
There's probably entire Discord groups of like what are they? Sea lions?
Sea lion.
Yeah, there's probably entire Discord groups of just them.
Hey, let's
go after this person. Let's go after this person.
Yeah. There's also troll farms. Did you know about this?
I didn't know about that. No.
Yeah, so there's troll farms. There's actually YouTube videos about it. They're in China and they're in Africa and places. Literally just rooms full of people that you can hire to troll online.
Wow.
But that trolling can come in the form of positive messages, negative messages, discrediting people, promoting something. Like, hey, we're doing this. We're going to pay you to either attack this or promote this or cause confusion in the conversation. It's insane, man.
Wow.
Entire industries are popping up.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
What a time to be alive.
Right?
Yeah.
Internet culture at its best.
Yeah.
Pixie Dust Traveler. Been on YouTube for a week or more. She has a travel channel. The goal of the channel is to provide entertainment and resources for travelers before they visit a location, also to be a full-time creator. The question is, how many videos in a series does it take before the algorithm thinks your channel might be focused on one location? I don't want it to do that. It's not necessarily that it thinks the channel is focused on one location. It's just that when you talk about one location, in a lot of cases, like those people will respond to the content, right? Because there's like, hey, I wonder what they're saying about, my area and, those types of things. And what can happen is once those people are responding, because everything on the platform is based on response, right? So if certain groups of people respond to the content at a high level, then you might end up, just getting a large viewership from that area, right? So think of like David Hasselhoff, for those of you that remember him. If you think of David Hasselhoff, how he's like, like a superstar in Germany, right? They just like connected with him in some way. I mean, he's famous, everywhere, but he's like a superstar in Germany because they just really connected with him there. But when you have, a travel channel, what you're talking about, it happens a lot because you are having all of these people in this location respond to you there, travelers and, people that live there. And then when you go to another location, people will respond there. The people that are like hardcore into your stuff or whatever, but the response might not be as good until you build up that audience and then you move on to another one and you kind of rinse and repeat, that particular process. So the goal is over time, as you go through all of these locations, that you pick up groups of people in every single one of those locations that enjoy all of your content so that over time you end up with a nice solid viewership of people that come in and they'll watch you wherever it is that you go. I have a friend of mine that makes YouTube content who travels around and does some, he started the channel here, but he travels all over the place now, making video content. His name's Patty Doyle. And in his case, he's in that situation. He's hit that sweet spot where he has just like a nice avid viewer base that just love to watch him go to places and show them all of these different things and go on all these different journeys with him. And because of that, some content might perform better than others, but he still has that core group that, pretty much follows him wherever he goes.
Hey, I forgot to ask you. So we were eating dinner tonight, and we're walking into the restaurant. As soon as we open the door, some guy goes, "Nick Nimmin?" Yeah. What was this channel about? YouTuber. We didn't talk. Yeah, we got distracted.
So what he does is he basically ushers people into Thailand.
So
yeah, so
like a pickup service. VIP?
No. He's not like working in that capacity. He's just like
to Thailand online.
Yeah, it's like, hey, answering questions about Thailand essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he does. Let's see here. So next up, no, we do not. At this moment in time, I'm actually working on one that should be done before VidSummit is my thing that I'm trying to hit. As of right now, no. But before VidSummit, yes. And mine, actually, the very first one isn't going to be around growth per se, even though that's also going to be a part of it. It's more about monetization, like, how you can, all the different ways that you have to monetize, how you can set everything up, the best strategies for, making the most money out of the content that you're publishing and things like that. Let's see here. So next up on the list here, we're on number 8 already.
It's warm in here.
Think so? Might be that coffee, maybe. Oh, no, it's iced coffee. Maybe not. Maybe not.
I think the fan's not getting me. I think it's getting you.
You want to turn it?
Yeah.
Cool off a little bit.
Yeah, well,
So New England Thrifter is our next channel. They've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do thrifting hauls, shop with me, live sales. Oh, that's cool. They're a full-time reseller. And the question is, what do you think about using Prodvigate to help grow my channel? Nope. I don't even know what it is. But here's the thing. I'm actually just going to look really quick. Just to, confirm. But yeah, any services that, promise, like here, supercharge your channel with our promotion services. Yeah, you want to avoid those like crazy. A lot of those services, they use bots and things like that, or they'll use like cheap advertising so that they can, target lower fee places to where they don't have to pay as much rates, but then you start seeing activity on your channel and you think everything's, going great, but then you end up in a situation like the question that we answered before where your content's getting shown to the people that you are not trying to reach with your content. So avoid services like that at all costs. Not just that one, but any service like that that's like, hey, all you got to do is pay money and then we're just gonna like throw a bunch of traffic at your channel. Don't do that. And the reason for that, in addition to just putting you in front of the wrong people, there's another bigger problem. And that bigger problem is when you try to shortcut, and people do this with YouTube advertising too, when you try to shortcut your growth with throwing money at it through advertising or through a service like that, then while those campaigns are going, it might seem like, oh, hey, I've got some people interacting. But the downside is, if you haven't learned the fundamentals yet in terms of learning how to get people to respond to your thumbnails and titles organically, in terms of when they do respond and they do click on those, once they come into your video content, not getting them, that far into your video content, if the response isn't there, then what ends up happening is you'll see the numbers going up like, hey, I've got more views, but then it's like, oh, well, they're not even hardly watching the video, right? Hey, I got more subscribers, but they're bots. They're not even coming back and watching the content, or if it's through advertising, in that particular case, it's like, oh, hey, I got some people that are subscribed. So now let me turn off that advertising campaign. Well, what happens next is if you haven't learned the fundamentals of learning how to get people to respond from your content organically, then the moment you turn that stuff off, you're back at square one again, because when you publish your next video, you still haven't learned how to get people to click. So even if you gained, let's say, 1,000 subscribers from YouTube advertising, if you still can't get those people to click, then you just wasted your money. And after they don't click, after YouTube shows your content to them, a handful of times and they don't respond to it, then that's just wasted money. And those people are likely to not see your content again, or rarely, when you publish your content, for them to even see it in the first place. So because of that, the best thing that you can do, and I know it's a harder road, and I know it takes longer, and I know that, all of us, we all want more, right? We all want to, get everything rolling. We want to get, established as a creator and things like that. But the idea is you have to learn how to do those fundamental things if you want to do this long-term and sustainably. If you don't learn how to do those fundamental things, then nothing is going to work out. So because of that, instead of, spending your time there, it would be better to, say, hey, let me, instead of, paying that service to just throw a bunch of bots at my channel, let me instead go and watch a video from, Hayden Hellier Smith on how to edit videos in a way that will keep people engaged engaged in watching the content. Let me go watch, Ed over at Film Booth, and, some of his tips on storytelling. Let's watch, Nick from time to time and, his things on, how to get more views and just setting everything up on your channel and the right tools to use and all that good stuff. But like the whole idea is, educating yourself and then applying it and improving your skill sets over time so that you can continually do this. Because once you learn the skills, here's the awesome thing about this. And, D, I would love your thoughts on this too. But once you learn the skills,
you're going to get them.
I know. Well, once you learn the skills that are required to do this, you can apply them to so many other things. It can be other content, but you can also apply them to just other things. Like you can, start offering services to people if you want and that sort of thing as well. So learning the skills by themselves is really valuable, not just for YouTube, but for also other things that you can do with them in the event that you need to leverage them in some other way. What are your thoughts on that, D?
Yeah, well, first I want to say, to piggyback on what you said, and this is something that might not make sense when you're first getting started, because we're all looking for views. We're looking for, some sort of an indicator that we're doing the right thing. So we're looking at subscriber numbers, we're looking at our view count, but it's important to understand that all views are not created equal. So if you're paying one of these services, and however they're trying to get people to you, if you're paying one of these services, you might be getting the views. So to you, the new creator, you're like, this is fantastic. I'm getting the views, my hard work, it's all validated. The views are coming in, right? But those are not good views. You want views, like he said, you want views from people who are actually interested in your content, people who are actually watching a good length of your video and preferably going on to watch additional videos, right? You want quality views,
yes,
not cheap views for the sake of those vanity metrics. And I know it feels good and it's exciting to get those views, but not all views are created equal. And it's
less of the right viewers is better than a lot of the wrong viewers.
100%, 100%. And in terms of learning the skills, yeah, I agree. I mean, we both came from that. We both were able to, not that we started off, perfect or perfect even now. We still make tons of mistakes.
Right.
But like we both kind of hit the ground running in terms of we had a really long history of working with video, working with, Photoshop and graphic design and photography. So, we brought those skills to this. So once you learn those skills, you're going to be really surprised how easily they translate to other things.
Yeah.
Even messing with the AI. Right. Because you understand what looks good now. You've worked in this stuff long enough. You understand like how to balance an image. So if an AI spits something out and it's unbalanced, you're like, oh, that doesn't look right. Right. You have to learn what looks good, what sounds good. And that takes time, and you just got to pick up those skills. And unrelated to this, both of our channels were served an ad at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
You were talking at the exact same time. We both got served an ad because people said it in both of our chats. We took a 35-person hit immediately.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
35, 36 immediately dropped out.
Did it come back up? Because they would drop out if they were seeing the ad.
Slowly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it took a few minutes for it to come back. But it was just like, hey, you're, an ad, and then boom, just woof, dropped.
Interesting.
And slowly climbing back up. It was just interesting.
Yeah, I'm experimenting with that right now to see if it impacts in any way. I did it in the last stream too.
At that moment, it did. Yeah.
Interesting.
Creeping back up, but yeah, that was really interesting.
Nice. So next question that we have. So anyway, work on your skill sets, and focus on that, because the skill sets that you gain from doing this, not only can you apply them to everything else that you do, but you can also, like those skill sets will kind of secure your spot as a content creator for as long as you're willing to do it. Even if you're like, hey, I'm just not, maybe I'm not going to, post a video like every week or, whatever, but you're still going to be able to, keep going. You're still going to be able to do the thing. You're still going to be able to, take full advantage of the opportunity that you have as a content creator. So if you focus on the skills, that's the path.
Yeah. And the other thing about learning the skills, and here's the thing, you don't have to be the best at this, the best at that. You just have to be able to do it enough to get your message across. I will say this, I would say practice the most. Everybody says, practice video editing, practice, and you should do that. But if you're in front of the camera or you're speaking on camera, right? If you're presenting and trying to communicate, focus a lot on how to communicate.
Yeah.
That is going to get you further than anything else, I believe, right? You need to learn how to edit. Yeah, you need to learn how to do, all these other things, but like learning how to communicate, learn that skill and learn some video basics. And then it doesn't matter what platform you're on.
Right.
You can go from platform to platform or all the platforms, or the next platform pops up. You're covered because you already understand the skill. Moving on.
Absolutely. So next up on our list here, we got Sire Smiley. Love the channel name, Your Majesty. Says a bit of everything. They do mostly fitness, music, and dance. The goal of the channel is to help people with their fitness goals, put a smile on everyone's faces with my song covers and dancing, and also to get income from growing on the long run. And the question is, I upload videos and they hardly got views, and then I decided to try shorts and they always had more views than my uploads. Should I just keep uploading shorts, or what I need to do to get normal uploads to get the reach that my shorts get? So there's a couple of problems.
I was going to say, do you first want to feel the sting of the mixed bag of content?
Yeah. So the very first issue is that you are uploading multiple types of content for different types of viewers to your main channel. So in the case that we were talking about earlier with the watch channel, they're uploading low-end watches, and then they're doing like these watch reviews, and the reviews are getting a lot more activity than the lower end watches get. But they're still targeting people that are into watches, right? So there's some crossover there. In your particular case, if you're uploading song covers on the same channel that you're uploading fitness content, you're working against yourself.
Why
and
is
the
that?
reason that you're working against yourself, and if we mix in the dance. So
Tell them why,
technically,
Nick. Tell them why.
Got a hype, man. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So technically, your fitness.
Oh Lord, here it goes.
Your fitness and dance content could be, kind of crossover content there if you do like dance for fitness type of things, with the videos that you're putting out. But the big elephant in the room, so to speak, is that you're publishing covers on a fitness channel. So when you're doing that and you have those videos as like public videos that people can come and find you on your channel, the big problem that you're creating is this. Let's say that, and we'll just put it in your case, right? Okay, so you come to my channel to learn different aspects of YouTube. So if all of a sudden I started publishing videos about cooking on my channel, maybe the first video or maybe the second video, for the sake of the novelty, you might come in and say like, oh, hey, Nick published a cooking video, so let me go check out.
Good Lord, he's lost his mind.
So
you might think that.
So let me come in and see what that is all about. But then after a while, you're like, you know what? I don't even cook. So why am I going to watch Nick's cooking videos? Or I don't care about cooking. I've got all these other cooking channels that I watch. So because of that, I'm watching all those other
big over there, player
channels, and that's not what I go to Nick for. So what's going to end up happening over time is you're going to stop responding to my cooking content because that's not what you come to me for, right? So then every time YouTube shows you that, you're not going to respond to it. And then over time, YouTube's going to be like, hey, this person just isn't, that involved anymore. So then they're going to start recommending my content less and less. So that's the biggest problem right now in terms of the long form content, is I would get clear on exactly what it is that you're offering on the channel. More importantly, who it is that you're offering that content to. Get very clear on that, and then kind of start from scratch with that. Now, the next part of this is uploading short content and getting views there, but not getting a response from the longer form content. I have a video on my channel. If you just type in into YouTube search Nick Nimmin shorts versus longs, then you're going to see a video that explains this in detail. But the difference is when you are publishing long form content, then in that particular case, if let's say it shows up on somebody's mobile feed, well, somebody has to stop. Right? Your thumbnail has to grab their attention. They have to stop and then make a conscious choice to click on your video and come in and participate in your content from there. Whereas when it comes to a YouTube short, shorts just happen to people. So somebody can be in a short shelf and they can just swipe up next to see whatever video it is next, and bam, right there you are. So because of that, what's happening is when you publish your long form videos, people aren't choosing to click on it. And then if they do, you also need to check your audience retention reports to see how people are responding to the content once they do click on it for the long form. You can find that information in your YouTube analytics. You get it for every single video. But for the short content, when it just shows up and it happens to them there, people can just, watch just enough of it for it to count as a view. And then from there, they can just swipe into, the next video. So because of that, it's easier for content creators, especially content creators that are just getting started, to get that activity in YouTube Shorts, because it removes some of the barriers to entry. It removes the need or the skill to be able to make a thumbnail that helps people identify the content, something that they are interested in, and then compel them to click on it. It removes the need to have the skill to be able to make a title that will also stop somebody in their tracks and cause them to come into the video, right? Because again, shorts is just happening to people where they have to pay attention to it and then make the choice to click on it when it comes to the long form content. So what you need to do is start working on how you're packaging up your content in terms of like, what am I making videos about? Who is it I'm making these videos for? And get really tuned in on that. And then start paying really close attention to your thumbnails and how they can help people identify that your content's something that they might care about. And then start, working on the skill sets of writing better titles as well. And if you work on those things over time, and then you also work on, making better videos so that you can keep people, enjoying the content and give them a reason to, want to keep watching, then in that particular case, you'll end up doing a lot better over time.
Awesome. You got a super chat?
Super chat.
Let's see here. Speak English with this guy. Thanks for the super chat. Says, thanks, guys. I recently hit 100,000 hours of watch time and 20,000 subscribers. You both have been a huge help. Keep grinding. High five and fist bump to you for 100,000 hours and 20,000 subs.
I want a chain horn.
Oh, nice.
Just so it's just like dangling here.
Wah, wah.
Yeah,
that's good.
Or a bell. I can just grab the bell and just ring it.
Yeah, I've got at home in my setup. I've got a red. It says "ring the bell" thing where you can just bang it like that. It can just sit on the desk, so then you don't have to rig stuff to the ceiling.
Yeah, but that would look so much cooler to have.
It would. It would. Yeah, it definitely would.
Milestone. Ring the bell.
Yeah.
Right.
Or the neighbors would be like, "What in the world is going on in there?" Yeah.
Right. You got like air horns and bells going on.
Yeah. Somebody walking by in the hallway, they hear like, wah, wah, wah.
Right. We get through like one stream, and then the following stream would be like, congratulations, we're streaming from a new studio.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the next one is like, hey, we got another studio again.
Yeah. We just moved to another studio. This is unbelievable.
Yeah. Amy says that your neighbors probably wonder that anyway. Yeah, they probably do, actually. Yeah, they're probably like, what in the world is going on over there?
Like the walls in here are actually pretty thin.
They are. Yes. Hey, we apologize in advance if you're listening to this.
Yeah, they're surprisingly thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's hear. So next up on the...
Congratulations, Speak English with this guy. You got another super chat here.
Super chat.
Six Shop.
Thank you for the super chat. It says, I had a click through on a vid go from 13 to 1. Should I change something? Also stuck in a low view hallway trying new things, but unsure why low views. So hey, what's going on, Ash? Welcome to the stream, man. So when it comes to your click-through rate starting at 13 and going down to 1, what typically happens in that situation is when you first publish a video, YouTube, just based on how their system works, they show your content to the people that are the most likely to enjoy that content and engage with that content at that moment in time. So because of that, when we publish videos, typically our metrics are higher at the time of publish or, right after we publish the video. And then they start falling off over time as our content starts going out to people that aren't the perfect fit for it, that might be interested in it, but they're not the perfect fit. And then once they come into the video, then in that particular case, since it's not exactly what they're looking for, maybe they don't watch as long, those types of things. So the drop off is, relatively normal. Now, the difference could be, if you're driven all the way down to 1%, unless you got a lot of views on that video, then in that particular case, it's probably, you like, I'm not going to say update your thumbnail. You're going to have to make that call based on, on the, what it is that you see on your channel. But a 1%, if you don't have a lot of views on that video, is low. The average across the platform is between 2 and 10%. They don't give us impression data for that, but it's between 2 and 10%. So because of that, right now you're below that average with that 1%. So one thing to make sure that you do, if you do decide to change it, before you go and make that change, go and look in your traffic sources report for the video and see what your traffic sources report says for home pages, see what your traffic sources report says for suggested videos and for search, because you might have it to where, you're doing okay in one place, but all the other metrics are pulling it down. So before you do make any, changes, if there's not a lot of views on it, make sure that you do go look in your traffic sources report and look at your click-through rate there, because you get a more accurate impression of what's actually going on if you look in that report. Let's see here.
Next question.
So next up on our list here.
10.
So really quick, Chad Garber says, has anyone outside of YouTube actually seen YouTube's algorithm and how they work? I've heard it's so complicated, most don't understand it. So YouTube has documentation. YouTube explains how everything works.
Why don't you simplify? Because it's really easy to simplify the algorithm, generally speaking.
If people respond to your content, more people are going to see it.
Boom.
That's it.
That's it.
So when it comes to like the details, though, like they publicly have information out there that explains to people how everything works. Yeah. So it's not like it's like, oh, hey, in terms of like the nuances of like, hey, this triggers this and this triggers this and this triggers this and things like that. Some of that is figured out, you know, over time just from people, you know, just testing things. But when it comes to, you know, how the system works, YouTube is very transparent. I mean, as transparent as they can be with their proprietary system. They're, you know, pretty transparent about how everything is put together.
Yeah, so Renee's in here, the YouTube creator, asking questions about Ahsoka. Yep. No, I'm actually going to wait for it to build up, but I was just going to quote Renee.
Yeah, we were talking about that today.
Yeah, actually. I was just going to quote Renee. I was going to say, I've heard Renee and I believe Todd say the same thing, is replace the word algorithm with audience.
Yep.
Replace the word what does the algorithm want? Replace that word with audience. Yep. What does the audience want?
Yep.
And when you start thinking about audience first instead of algorithm, things fall into place a lot easier.
Right. Yeah, so neither of us have watched that yet. So we are both kind of reserving ourselves to where we can at least get a couple of episodes in, you know, instead of, you know, being on the cliff.
Here, I mean, I know the story, right? I know the story. I saw the animation, but I'm sure they're going to have some awesome things in here. I've gone this far, okay? I'm using Twitter right now. I've put every possible spelling and scenario into my mute list on X. I'm sorry, it's not Twitter anymore.
Shame on you.
I'm logged into a different YouTube account, and I'm purposefully looking at all sorts of other content, trying to avoid any. Because if I look at my normal account, it's just Star Wars. They're always recommending Star Wars stuff to me, so I'm trying to avoid it. I'm trying to avoid all spoilers, because so much stuff got ruined.
So when I tell you that, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw you look at the coffee cup. I was getting ready to duck. Yeah, I was like, uh-oh, he's gonna chuck something at me over there. So let's see here. So next up, oh hey, and really quick, another one for you, Chad, is Renee just posted here. He says that we just did a Creator Insider video with Todd Sherman, who runs Shorts for YouTube, and he said the same thing. Don't think Shorts algorithm, think audience.
Boom.
Yeah. So the next question that we have here is from Autismina's Cleaning Clutter.
You got a super chat.
Super chat.
Lenore
in UK says advice for increasing views for a lifestyle channel. So when it comes to increasing views in any capacity, like we were just talking about, you have to think about the people that you're trying to reach with your content. When you are thinking about the people that you're trying to reach with your content, and you are doing the best that you can to understand what it is that they might be interested in, and the things that are important to them, and the things that they think about, and all of that, in that particular case, then it helps you when it comes to the topics of your videos, because it's like, okay, well, the people I'm trying to reach, they would care about this. When it comes to packaging up your content in terms of your thumbnails and titles, the same exact thing applies, to where, you know, all you have to do is, when you're putting all that together, is think to yourself, okay, what about this thumbnail is going to help them identify that it has something to do with something that they might care about, and define that thing, right, with every video that you publish, and say, if somebody were to see this on their homepage, if they're on their phone, or on a computer or on a TV, if YouTube were to present this on a grid of other videos, what about my thumbnail is going to help the people that I'm trying to reach, because I understand who I'm trying to reach with my content? What's going to help those people identify that this video is something that they want to watch, or something that they might be interested in, so that they'll either click directly through, or so that they'll read the title to try to get more context about what the video is about. And then, since that is the next, you know, step in the process, from there, once they see the actual thumbnail, because you've grabbed their attention, then you move on to the title, and you think to yourself, okay, with this title, when I'm writing this, how is this going to give context to people that I'm trying to reach? Big, you know, important part of this. How's this going to give context to the people that I'm trying to reach, that this content, you know, is something of interest to them, or it's going to help them in some way, or it's going to share some new insight on something, or something along those lines? And what about this title is going to compel them to click on it? So if you wanted to, you can skip the compel them to click on it part, and just use like an informational title that is just explicit about, this is exactly what this video is about. But when you level that up and you try to think of like, okay, is there a way that I can make this a little bit more compelling? So when they see it, instead of them thinking like, oh, another one of these videos, to where they look at it and they're like, oh, this, I need to watch this video, or I should watch this video, or, oh, I haven't seen something like this yet, just based on the way that you present it. So make sure that when you are going through the process of packaging up your content, that you're defining those things. why would somebody identify that this is something they care about? What about this thumbnail is doing that? And then 2, what about this title would either inform them or compel them to actually click on this? If you can't define those things, keep working on it. Just keep workshopping it, and you'll get it over time. But the whole idea is to just get really clear on the reasoning and be very intentional about everything that you're doing when it comes to the video content itself and when you're packaging it up. And then from there, of course, that's just the click level, right? From there, you also have to deliver content that people also respond to at a competitive level for the platform. So the whole idea here is that when you are publishing videos to YouTube, there is content that goes out to where when people go into it, they just don't have a good experience. It could be, because the creator hasn't learned how to make videos yet. They haven't learned how to grab people's attention when the videos first start yet. Maybe they're setting an expectation from the outside in their thumbnail and their title that they just can't deliver on in the video, or it takes them too long to deliver on in the video. So because of that, people end up abandoning the video quickly once they're into it. But all of these things you have to get in alignment. And then once you get those things into an alignment, then you're creating a good experience for the people that you're trying to reach, to where they can identify that your content is about something they care about. They can understand why it is that they're clicking on it, so they can make that conscious choice to do so. And then once they come into the video, they're getting satisfied with the experience that they're having, because you're making content that they are enjoying at a level that's competitive for the platform. And what I mean by competitive for the platform is you're competing against all the other videos that YouTube thinks that particular viewer that you're trying to reach is a good candidate for. So because of that, you have to be competitive with that other content, because if not, since YouTube's priority is to serve viewers the content that they're most likely to engage with and enjoy, then in that particular case, what ends up happening is if people are entering your content and they're not, giving that positive feedback to YouTube systems, then what's going to happen is other content that is giving that feedback will be prioritized over yours. So because of that, you have to work on that viewer experience side of things. And once you do that and you can create that chain of events, so to speak, and it leads to a satisfactory experience for your viewers, then you'll start getting more views on your content. And then there's other things you can do in terms of, leading people into additional content and things like that. But for right now, if you're having trouble, getting the ball rolling, just focus all of your efforts right now on the on that viewer experience.
So I know Renee's in here, and I know Renee likes to run things up the chain when he gets input. Renee, and we may have talked about this before, if you get the opportunity, please beg everyone you know at YouTube to put some sort of a feature in YouTube to where you can block content based on keywords.
Oh, as a viewer.
As a viewer, right? Not comments. Yeah, because
that'd be great.
I have had so many things spoiled just because somebody will put a spoiler in a thumbnail. I'm thinking about the Disney shows. I've had so many things spoiled by thumbnails.
Yeah.
I would love to just be able to say, like, hey, block these. Any title that has the, of course it's not going to be perfect, but if this is in any of the titles, don't show it to me.
That would be great, because they have not interested, which doesn't work that well.
But
they have not interested. But you are interested in that content. You're just not interested in it at this moment in time.
Right.
So then those keyword blocks would be a way to say, like, hey, right now, anything that is clear that it's this, then just don't show it to me.
Right.
That's great.
One of the things you can do with
that would help them better understand viewers too, in terms of things they don't want to see. Yeah.
One of the cool things that I'm going to call it Twitter. One of the things that Twitter has, when you mute a word, you can mute it for, you can be like forever, or you can mute it for like 7 days or whatever. So I can say, like, hey, mute this word forever. Maybe I don't want to ever be recommended political content.
Right.
Ever. Like, don't ever show me political content. Or maybe I just don't want to see it this month.
But how can they skew your opinions if they're not showing you political content?
Right. Anyway, that would be look.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, if we have to, like, remember we were talking about mercenaries earlier.
Yeah.
We got to take somebody at YouTube.
No.
And hold their feet to the fire to make them add this feature.
Add it. Come on, add it.
Yeah.
So
make the call.
Next up, we have Foodie Rush. Thank you for the super chat. It says, you guys are legends. Does more subs mean more concurrent live viewers? It seems to me that sub and live viewers don't line up. How do I build more concurrent live viewers on my channel, if so? It doesn't always line up. One thing that you got to make sure that you're doing if you're wanting to build up concurrent viewers is, one, make sure that you're delivering something that's evergreen, that people can't, like, burn out of or, age out of, so to speak. You would need to, make sure that you're doing that. But also, you need to let people know that you're going live, let them know when you're going live, and do it repeatedly over time. So one thing that is extremely helpful for growing live streams in general is saying, every week, no matter what, almost, I'm going to go live at this time or these times, whatever, on these days. And then you consistently do that for a period of time. And then what's going to happen is people are going to start realizing, hey, they're going live every time. And based on my lifestyle and what it is that I do, I usually have some downtime at that point in time. And I like, interacting with this channel and this creator. So because of that, I'm going to spend some of that time, hanging out in their live streams. So the main thing that you want to do is, one, let people know that you're going live. If you're just getting started with all this, scheduling your streams in advance so that people can know that way as well. So if they're watching your video content, they end up hitting your channel page looking for more information, especially how we're going to be driving people to our channel pages anyway for links and stuff, as time passes here. But having a scheduled stream so that people can go in there and hit the reminder. In addition to that, you can also level that up by making sure that you add trailers to your live streams, because that's a feature that you have as well, where you can go in and you can make a custom trailer. You can do it technically for every live stream, or you can just have one general trailer that you use so that when YouTube is recommending that live stream around, when people come into it, instead of them just getting an image that doesn't really give context outside of the title, then you can be sitting there in a video and be like, hey, we're going live, this Thursday, and we're going to be, talking about this, or I'm going to be sharing this, or showing you how to do this, or, whatever it is that you're offering. And then just make it short, short but informative. And then by doing that, you are giving people that maybe are not already familiar with your content the opportunity to have more information about why they would want to join your stream as well. So stream on a regular basis, make sure that you're interacting with people, letting people know, schedule in advance so that you can give it, so that you can, give people time to, schedule it and get in there.
You missed a super chat here
Super
from
chat.
Debt Free Dad.
Live, thank you for the super chat as well. Says live or pre-recorded VOD, which is better? I'm going to say yes. So when it comes to live streams, if you structure everything correctly, live streams can be just as effective as long form, or just as effective as video on demand. So video on demand, the advantage is they're typically like shorter, things like that in a lot of cases, not always. But when people come into it, they're typically polished, and they can create, a great viewer experience for somebody that's never interacted with your content in terms of like getting what it is that they need quickly, or what it is that they're expecting quickly, and then, giving, them like a real customized experience, right, through the video content itself. But when it comes to live streams, it can be a little bit different. So this live stream, as an example, because of what it is that we offer here, this particular stream is a mess. So like for the replay, like this is not, a great example of what you should be doing for the replay, but this is a great example for what you should be doing for, interacting with your community and adding value to your space and things like that. But when it comes to, long-term performance of the content, if I wanted to only focus on that, then these live streams wouldn't be this. They would be like training live streams and things like that, to where I'm like, okay, we've got a presentation and we're going through that. We're showing you, step by step, do this, then do that, then do this, then do that, and then make sure you're keeping these things in mind. And it would be based around those types of things so that it would perform better on the long term. But right now, it's conversational and everything's kind of messy. D is derailing stuff all the time, things like that. So because of it, like if somebody comes into this content and they've never experienced this before, they can skip around because we add timestamps and all that, but they have to kind of look for what it is that they want, and they're long. So because of that, if somebody sees this from the outside, it's like, wow, this might look interesting, but I mean, I don't know if I've got 3 hours to, spend, listening to, D talk about, mercenaries. So because of that,
I could talk
about
mercenaries.
I know, for 6 hours. I know. Days. Sorry, days. See what I mean? But the idea is to format the stream for the replay as well, so that when people are like, if you're trying to do it to grow the channel and to grow your community. You can also do multiple streams in order to do this, but do a stream that you actually format for the purpose of being a good replay value stream as well. So you can give people the live experience, and then the way that you format it or structure your stream, you do it in a way to where if people do come in on the replay, it's still a really cool experience for them. And the way that you do that is when your stream first starts, just let people know what it is that you are offering, just like you would do in the video content. So, hey, welcome to, the video, or just say, today, this is what we're doing. And then right there, you're giving people context as they come into the stream versus somebody clicking on your replay and getting a countdown timer for 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever. And then them having to like skip around and try to figure out what's going on. For new people, you know, there's a gajillion videos they could watch on YouTube. So those types of experiences typically work out more negative on the replay value. But when you are designing at least some of your streams for the replay, then you're also giving people a taste of what your live stream is like, which can then also encourage people to come in and hang out in your live streams as well.
Not mercenaries.
Oh, here we go.
Hold on. No. Do you remember, and this is a true story, do you remember we were taken off the bus in Venezuela?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
We were scary. We were in the Andes Mountains on a bus in Venezuela, like in, I don't know, 1999, I think. And we were taken off a bus at gunpoint by this, like, they were probably narcos or something, by this militia. And they took all the men off the bus and lined us up like firing squad. Yeah. Like they had like machine guns in it. That was absolutely terrifying.
It was scary.
I was like, well, here we go.
Yep.
Yeah. I think mercenaries, that's what I think of it. They weren't mercenaries. They were militia, but still. Or narcos, whatever they were.
Narcissist Hex.
It was terrifying.
It was scary.
Super.
Says my channel only has 47 subs, but tons of views. Why? So when it comes to people subscribing to your YouTube channel, if people can't clearly see the value that you're offering and they don't have a clear reason to like want to come back and watch more of the content, then that can impact your ability to convert people into subscribers. So channels that have, and I'm just going to give this as an example, but like, let's say that you have a channel for the channels that do things like fix cars. In that particular case, if you have, one video on fixing the brake lines of a Honda Civic, then in that particular case, there's no reason for people that have the Honda Civics to subscribe to the YouTube channel because you only have that one video for them, right? But if you have an entire channel full of maintenance advice for people that have Honda Civics, in that particular case, your channel becomes instantly valuable to anybody that has a Honda Civic that is doing repairs themselves. And then there, you can generate more subscribers because it's clear the value that you're actually offering and what it is that the viewer is going to get out of it. So that's one thing. The next is that you're getting a lot of views on the channel, but you have 47 people, converting. Your content type could be something that, doesn't convert as high. Also, with the tons of views that you're getting, depending on the experience that people are having in the video content, it just may not, be something to where they're like, hey, like this is something I want to come back for. Maybe you're helping them solve like an individual problem or something. But, if you're like, helping people deal with like narcissistic people, those channels can do very well. So because of that, it could just be a time, thing, but also just asking people to subscribe somewhere in the content. You don't have to make it interruptive. You can do it while you're talking about something else to where you just insert it to where, let's say halfway through the video, you're talking about something and then you're like, oh, hey, by the way, I put out videos like this every week. So if you're enjoying this so far, remember to subscribe, and then you get back into the content. That also is effective for getting more people to subscribe to your content, but it can throw an interruption into the viewer experience if you don't do it the right way. So just be very mindful of how well it flows with the content, as you're putting everything together.
So we're asked, are you serious? Yes, that actually.
That happened.
Absolutely, that happened. And yes, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
What's even more terrifying is that they only let some of us back on the bus. They lined us up. They checked all of our documents. They let some of us back on the bus, and some of those poor men stayed behind, and I don't even want to know what happened to them.
Yep.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, that happened. You got another super chat.
Rhino Man Show, thank you for the super chat. Says, I'm a slot channel creator. My views were bad until I started only showing Buffalo slots. Now my views and view duration have gone up over 64%.
Wow.
I just keep doubling down. YouTube is recommending me more. Yeah, keep it up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, like that. That's the thing, right? Is like when you hit it, and it's like, oh, okay, this is what people are responding to. The people that YouTube is showing my content to, this is what they're responding to. And you're like, hey, I'm just going to keep delivering that. That works like a charm when it comes to YouTube. So nice work on that.
Congratulations.
Tinkerman Mick, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it, man. Or super sticker.
Super sticker. I get to hit it.
Appreciate it. Hit it.
Hitting it.
Super sticker.
Yeah, tapping into what your audience is truly interested in. That's exciting.
It is.
And what's more frustrating is when you tap into it, and like a couple months down the road, like people stop responding to it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, come on, I had it.
Yep.
I had it.
Yeah, as people get bored or, you know, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So we did
Thank you, Tinkerman.
autism is cleaning.
Yeah, we are on number.
Oh no,
10.
I think I started this one and then you derailed me on was it the Venezuela thing? I can't remember, or maybe I saw something in here. No, it was the super chat. That's what it was. Okay. So Autismina's clearing clutter. Been on YouTube less than 6 months. They do the type of channel is inspiration about improving your life, mostly autism and ADHD focused. And the goal of the channel is to hopefully inspire people and help them create a better, happier life. The question is, I often read the average retention rate is 50 to 60%, but I now saw a short on how it's actually more around 30 to 40. Can I ask what your take is? So in terms of averages, I'm not sure, because the most important thing is how people are responding to your content, right? So what you can do with each individual video is you can actually go and you can see how your videos are comparing to other videos of similar length on YouTube. That's what you should be looking at, because you might find for, your content and all of that, you might find that, you're most competitive when you're at 60% and you're less competitive, when you're at, 30%. Of course, that's all dependent on your video length and all of that. You also have the factors of video length. So, if you are putting out, a 10-minute video and, you have, 30 to 40% or 50 to 60% of that compared to a 20-minute video, then, those are two wildly different, experiences. So if you want to talk for just a second, I'm actually going to share some information here.
Yeah, well, he's looking it up. Let me tell you about this. The video on my channel that has the most view, it's got 2 million views and counting. It has the worst audience retention on the entire channel. So it depends on what type of content that you're making. If you're making utility
and how many people have interacted
and how many people have interacted with it. So on my channel, what happens a lot is I'm teaching somebody how to do something, and people are looking for that information. And once they figure out enough of that information, like, oh, I got it, they leave. So I've got 2 million views. The video's made, several thousands of dollars in terms of ad revenue, but the audience retention is absolute. I mean, it's like 20% or something ridiculous. It's just this huge. It like goes and then just a cliff. They got what they wanted and then they left.
So this chart right here,
I can't zoom in and it's all white.
So this chart right here.
Oh, hold on. It's blown out. It's too bright. It's too bright.
Okay.
You got to turn your brightness down.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah, Nick doesn't understand how to do this stuff. You got to turn the brightness way down.
Yeah, see if that works.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's not in focus though.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so I'll just tell you what it is. So this chart right here, and for those of you, by the way, that are going to VidSummit,
I think I can do it.
This is one of the advantages of going to VidSummit is you get information like this.
I think I can do it.
So I'll tell you.
This was autofocus here.
So basically, this was shared by Todd, who is the lead of product for YouTube homepages and recommendations at VidSummit. And the information that he shared, this is all based on video length, the top 10% of videos on YouTube, and then the median. So basically, if you have a 3-minute video, then in that particular case, the top 10% of videos on YouTube have an 82% audience retention on a 3-minute video. Median is 62. When it comes to a 6-minute video, and this is from YouTube. This isn't from, like, hey, this person found this person found this. This is coming from YouTube. A 6-minute video has 71% audience. A 6-minute video, the top 10% of videos on YouTube that are 6 minutes long have 71% audience retention. The median for that is 50%. 10 minutes. The top 10% of videos on YouTube have 61% audience retention, and you guys can write all this down. By the way, if you are not using TubeSpanner, this is a great moment to where you can take notes with TubeSpanner. It's a browser extension, tons of helpful tools in there for YouTube content creators, script writers, things like that. But it also has a notepad in there for information like this so that you can jump in there and capture this stuff when you need it. But the 10 minutes, the top 10% is 61%. The median is 44% for 10-minute videos. 15-minute videos, the top 10% of videos on YouTube in terms of performance, for 15-minute videos has 54% retention. The top 10% of videos. And then the median for those is 37%. And then for a 30-minute video, for those of you that are doing that, the top 10% of videos on YouTube still have a 49% audience retention on 30 minutes, and then the median is 31%. Okay, so that's scaled out across YouTube. Taking all of the data that they have on the platform and comparing the top 10% of videos on the platform against the median average of videos on the platform. So hopefully that helps.
Got some super chats here.
Super chat.
Narcissistic Hex, thank you so much for the super chat.
Yep, thank you for the super chat.
And you've got another one here from Maureen Ryan Blake.
Super chat.
So tips for repurposing content into a new, hold on, let me pull this up
into a new podcast playlist.
So if you are making a podcast, then in that particular case, have one playlist as the podcast itself. And then that's going to give you the opportunity to go over into YouTube Music, which I'm sure is probably why you're asking this question. When it comes to repurposing just in general, like let's say you have an hour-long podcast that you do. In that particular case, you can create either like a clips channel for that podcast, or you can also put it on the same channel. But the reason that I recommend in that particular case having a secondary channel for the clips is so that you can have a viewership of long form enthusiasts, I'll call them, or long form viewers for the long form content. And then you can have a clips channel to where it's a lower barrier to entry. And with both of those channels, they can be going out to like different types of viewers that are still in alignment with that, those people that you're trying to reach. So another thing that you can do is you can do clips. And with that, you could technically turn those into podcasts as well, but I would only do the longer form content as podcasts, so then it's legitimately like a podcast and people will experience it like a podcast, because the first rule of this stuff is making sure that you're thinking of the viewers first and thinking of their experience and not just trying to like game everything. So because of that, I would definitely, put the long form and mark it in the playlist as a podcast, and then repurpose some of that as clips on another channel, or you can put it on your main channel, or just use shorts, for the repurposing. But the whole idea for either the clips or the shorts approach is that type of content is going to get in front of people that may not be familiar enough with you yet to want to commit to like an hour-long podcast, right? So it just gives you that opportunity to reach additional people. Technically, without question, you can put it all on one channel, but the whole idea is just to have the two, so that one, you can feed each other back and forth, so that people can be getting recommended clips and shorts on this channel while getting recommended long form and shorts over here on the main channel. So I would definitely just consider that in terms of things that you might want to consider experimenting with.
So Chantel says we need Travis to make a derailed audio stinger. Well,
you've got it.
It's funny you said that. Travis actually made this.
You haven't heard that one in a long time.
He made that. Yeah, actually,
Derailed.
I don't get. You haven't heard it? Here we go.
Yeah,
ready?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Derailed.
Yep. Yeah, I need that button.
Yes.
Yeah, I need.
It doesn't
that
make
over
sense
here.
to me for me to have the button.
Right. Right.
You need to have
I
the
need
button.
that button.
We need that because Rode. Listen, if you're listening,
Remote pads.
Yeah, I know you're making all the
good.
all these new Roadcasters and all the little mini
Bluetooth.
things.
They have the Bluetooth tech in the new one. They should include
All
that.
you,
That would
all
be
you
awesome.
need is like a remote audio pad, kind of like a Stream Deck.
Yep.
Or we could just use a Stream Deck.
Yeah,
We could just use.
but then you still have to like wire everything around, all that stuff. If it was directly connected to the Rodecaster with Bluetooth, then you could just hit it. Right, just an individual pad. Plus, people could use it as an extension for the pads as well, to where they could connect it directly to the machine.
Or
that's like wins all the way around.
We could just use the app on your phone and connect Bluetooth, and it would work that way.
Oh yeah, I guess it would.
We need a donkey sound effect, is what we actually need.
Yeah.
Hee-haw, hee-haw.
Yeah, right.
We just kind of worked that out live. We got it. Rode. Forget I
never
said
mind.
that.
Yeah, disregard. But it would be cool to have the pads though, because then you don't have to worry about phone batteries, stuff like that. Yeah, and the just connectivity.
We have the technology.
So my channel, Narcissist X, is about helping people suffering through narcissist abuse. I know there's massive channels doing that, like HG Tutor, etc. Yeah, so when you see other people that are doing it and they are getting good results out of it, it shows you that the potential is there. You just have to, figure out how to deliver that value in a way that people respond to in a similar way to, get you on that path. So what you want to do in that scenario is you want to go and study those channels and take notes on everything they're doing. Take notes on the videos that they're putting out that people don't respond to, the videos that they're putting out that people do respond to at a higher level in terms of like views, comments, and engagement in general in terms of likes and anything that you can see from the outside. In addition to that, looking at how they start their videos, how far they get into the video before they start changing things up. Start looking at if they're using music or not. Start looking at what type of music they're using, if they're using music. Start looking at how they're finishing their videos, how they're leading people into additional content, those sorts of things. How often are they publishing? Like, you want to just study the heck out of those channels, because if they're already doing well, people are already responding to that content in that space. So they're a great model for what is working for the people that you're trying to reach. So make sure that you spend an extensive amount of time, educating yourself based on the response that the other thriving channels in the space are getting.
Another super chat.
Super chat.
Atas Mina's clearing clutter says, this really puts it in perspective. Thanks. My pleasure. My pleasure. So let's see here. So next up.
Tackle something here. So Chad Garber's talking about, he was talking about the algorithm earlier. One of the things that he said, let me go back here. He says his whole point about the algorithm is that they're not good at their jobs. This live stream is 100% focused on audience, yet even on Nick's stream, it only gets 200-ish live viewers. And my response to that was, one, not everybody likes live streams.
Right.
Number two, time zones. I think in the U.S. and Canada, it's really early right now for a lot of people. If we were to put this live stream at a better time to where more people, could maybe in the evening, maybe in the evening where the majority of our audience is, you're definitely going to get more people to come in.
There's also another elephant in the room as well, which is that, the amount of subscribers that I have does not translate to the amount of active viewers that I have either.
Yes.
Right. So, so just like any, other channel, the people that subscribed, 9 years ago, those people, a lot of them either aren't doing YouTube anymore, they don't care about this type of content anymore, or they've gotten successful. And because of that, they have their own data to work with. They have their own ideas. They have their own experience that they can lean on to where they're not still trying to figure out how to get the ball rolling. Right. So because of that, my type of content is extremely transient in terms of the audience, because even though people will come and they'll keep, coming back, even established channels, they'll still, pop in from time to time, and some of them will still come and hang out. A lot of people, once they get kind of educated up on what it is that they need to do and they start applying it and then it starts working out for them, then there comes a point to where they're like, okay, well, if I hang out in this live stream, I know most of what it is that he's talking about. So because of that, they're just not getting the same type of value as people that are still trying to figure it out unless they come back for the entertainment, right? Then in that particular case, it's a little bit different.
Ladies and gentlemen, Roberto Blake is in the house.
Roberto Blake in the house. What's up, dude? Hope you are doing fantastic.
Roberto, we are not doing Ahsoka spoilers, so keep that stuff to yourself.
Right. So,
hope you're doing well, man.
Hope you're doing awesome.
So
Roberto.
we got a couple other super chats here from the Narcissistic Hex.
Super chat.
Thank you much. And Durf drops a super chat and says, "Are you still dealing tingles?"
That's you, D.
On the side.
That's you.
So what most people don't know is when I decided I was going to do YouTube,
he cut his teeth on an ASMR channel.
Yeah, when I decided to do YouTube, I said I'm going to put together a test channel and figure out how YouTube works, because he was doing well at the time. I think you had 150,000 subscribers or something ridiculous. And I'm like, I don't want to come on here and just embarrass the kid. So I figured out how to do it.
I like that. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Don't get cocky.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Old man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So I had a test channel, and I was like, what can I do? So I did an ASMR channel. I grew it to 500 subscribers. Had, I don't know, maybe 20 videos. I don't know how many got on there, and had fun with it. Figured how do you do YouTube? And then I stopped doing that and came over and started my main channel. I don't even know if I have access to that. I think I still have access to it, probably. But that's interesting. Thank you so much.
Love it.
Yeah.
Tish says, I've been watching for a long time. Love you both. Yep, absolutely.
Thank you so much,
But,
Tish.
even in your case, though, you'll pop in for periods of time, then you'll go back out, then you'll pop in for periods of time, things like that. And if you scale that out to, because I just crossed, I've got almost 900,000 subscribers on the channel, but I've got over 50 million views on the channel. So if you scale that out to, 50 million people, or the almost 900,000, subscribers, there's a lot of people that pop in and out, and then a lot of people that have, just kind of faded over time. But I appreciate your continued, showing up and enjoying the content.
Have we ever tried to stream at a different time?
We do it when we were in the States.
Yeah, we did it at Mom's or something. So it was just kind of like,
but not consistently though, because it just doesn't fit into our lifestyle. Technically, we could be like, hey, let's wake up. I mean, the first hurdle is you or I, neither one, are going to wake up at 7 a.m. In order to do that, right? In some cases, we're going to bed.
Right.
At that time.
My day generally starts at the crack of noon.
Yeah.
So right now it's 9:30 p.m. for us.
Right.
And depending on where you're at.
We push it. We push it, we go later just for the sake of giving more people in, time zones to go through.
Yeah.
But another thing, like in Chad's case, that he mentioned, is that, one thing that you're looking at is like the concurrent viewers on the stream. But if you look at the stream once it's complete, like there's a decent amount of people that come through these streams while we're live. So it's not always about concurrent because people, pop in and out.
And there's other things too. Like if you're on here, like topically, that can change audience too.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
if we're on here and we're like, hey, we're doing channel reviews all day.
Yeah,
you're going to see an enormous,
a huge increase in viewership. Yeah. So let's see. So next up on our list, we've got.
I think we got through all the super chats, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Next up, hey Roberto, you're getting love here from Earth to the Other Side. Says blessings, Roberto. Nice to see you here. Everybody loves Roberto Blake.
Blessings, Roberto. Nice to see you here. Yeah, yep. Roberto is omnipresent.
He is.
Doesn't matter where you're at, Roberto is there.
Yep. Hey, Roberto, man, I got to send you this clip that I made. So I'm going like way deep down the AI video rabbit hole. And I made this video of me holding your book and I'm like pointing to it and I'm pointing to the book. It completely scrambles like the actual cover itself. But it's just like a cool shot of holding your book up. But I have to send that to you sometime. I keep meaning to. I just keep forgetting. But you'll enjoy it. It's pretty cool. But anyway, next question that we have here is from Courageous Painting. Courageous Painting says they upload when they have time. The type of channel is acrylic painting channel. The goal of the channel, it says I want to teach people how to paint using cheap art supplies so they can experiment without fear of wasting money.
What number are you on?
I am on number 11.
Okay.
And the question is, what's the best way to offer my digital products? Should I show how to use them, make a video about them, or not mention them at all? I don't want to sound like I'm trying to make a sale. I just want to offer this product to help my viewers. So there's a few different things you can do. The very first would be to have dedicated live streams, right, to where you use it or you show them, you using the thing or whatever. Another thing is to sponsor your own videos to where, you can say, oh, hey, by the way, this is your first time here. I have this, thing, available. Instead of having sponsors, I've made my own thing, for the community, and I've got this, thing available that you can check out, down in the description below. But anyway, blah, 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 and then you continue on with the content. You can do that. Another thing as well that you can do is you made the option here about, making a video about it. If it is something that would, help the, people that you are, teaching through your acrylic painting channel, if it would help them in some way, and if you'd be able to package it all in a way that would make sense to them, then in that particular case, making a video about it's also something else that you can definitely do as well. Let's see here. Also, just really quick, also make sure that it's in all of your video descriptions, that you put a link to it and you put a little blurb. And if you're trying to bring the most attention to that over everything else that you're doing in your descriptions, make sure you have it higher up in your video description as well. So then that way, as people hit your video description, that they're going to be exposed to it as one of the first things that they see. Once they hit the see more, or depending on how much information that you're putting at the top of your description, you can put that link up there as well. And we have channel links now on our channel, so you can add up to 14 different links on your YouTube channel page. So another thing that you can do there is you can also make sure that you include a link there so that people can go find it there for people that are just looking into your content or they're looking into what you offer once they are exposed to your content. And then of course, if it's something really interesting to where you think that you might be able to make an interesting YouTube short out of it, then in that particular case, making shorts occasionally about it is also something that you can do as well.
Got a super chat. I prematurely hit that button.
Oh, hey, it's all right.
It's on the screen right now. Simplistic Currency Tips.
Simplistic Currency Tips says, I'm experimenting with an AI-driven faceless channel. This one, how do I kick it off and get more views and subs? After 1 week, I only have 3 subs and I can't break through 30 views. So this is all going to come down to the viewer experience. So a big problem that people have with faceless channels is, and I'm not saying that this is your case, but one big problem, I'm actually going to see if I can find you in chat here, over here, and then just go look and see what it is that you're doing real quick. Yeah, one problem that people are having is they're basically watching some of the faceless channels on YouTube, and they are, putting content together, but they haven't really figured out how to make like high response content yet. And because of that, it can be difficult, for them getting going. But in your particular case, one huge problem that I see right out of the gate is on your long form content. I can't speak for your shorts, but on your long form content, your thumbnails, like basically both of these are about finances, and neither of them have anything related that's obvious at a glance. Well, I don't know. I guess the piggy bank would be kind of obvious, but based on the color of this piggy bank in the thumbnail, the girl actually stands out here more, and the environment and the color of the piggy bank is like the least eye-catching thing in the thumbnail itself. So I would adjust your thumbnails to focus more on imagery that's related to finance instead of focusing more on the people, with this finance being a secondary or even further down the road focus.
Well, something you just said, at a glance, you didn't notice that.
Right.
Your initial impression was...
If this showed up on a homepage and I was into financial content, which I do watch some financial content, I would just gloss right over that.
Yeah. And another thing is most people are looking at their phone and they're just scrolling.
Right.
They're just scrolling. So if your thumbnails are not catching people's attention, you're gonna scroll right past them. Mm-hmm. You need to make sure that whatever you have on there, whatever message you're trying to convey with the imagery of your thumbnail, it needs to be clear and concise, or something that's just going to pique your curiosity. Whatever it is, you want to stop them from scrolling.
Yep.
Whoa, what is that? Click.
And the biggest elephant in the room, you've got 5 videos on your channel.
Yeah.
3 of them are long form. The other 2 are short. So because of that, settle in for the long haul. Like, YouTube is not a fast thing. In most cases, YouTube, will take people a considerable amount of time to get the ball rolling, which is going to require a bunch of upfront effort on your part. Like, a lot of those channels will be like, oh, hey, just start, just look at this Social Blade. This channel's making, $10,000 a month.
You're talking about the ones who are like, here's an easy way to make money on YouTube.
Right. And you'll see them on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts and stuff. And where it's like, hey, here's a thing. And they'll look at Social Blade and they'll quote the prices or the
Social Blade
general,
is never right with the revenue.
Right. One, it's never right with that. But 2, they're showing you the revenue of a channel that spent a decade growing their channel to like 5 million subscribers. And then people are looking at that and they're like, oh, sweet, I'm going to do that. But they're not understanding. And I'm not saying that this is you, but if it is, this is stuff that you got to consider. They're not considering the fact that channel that is thriving right now, that it took them tons and tons and tons of videos in order to, reach, the achievements that they have. So because of that, you got 5 videos, be patient. Like, YouTube is not, like an overnight thing. You're going to have to learn how to make, content. Like, the thing that I mentioned in your thumbnails right out of the gate is something that was glaring to me in terms of how it's not clear what it is that you're offering. So you're going to have to learn those types of, concepts before you can even start to expect any type of, higher level response from what it is that you're putting out.
Those shorts and YouTube channels and TikToks that are teaching people that, like, here's a fast way to grow on YouTube. Use these AI things and just do this and just mass do this, or go to the Creative Commons and just take this. And,
go to Google Images and steal everything there. Yeah,
they are doing such a disservice. Like, yes, maybe the first handful of people who did that, it worked.
Or there's you can still do that stuff and it can still work. But
it's still
there's
a lot of work, man.
It's still a lot of work, and there's still a lot of things that you have to be able to do and that you have to understand as you are, getting into that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really easy to make $5,000 a month on YouTube.
Right.
Go here, download this.
Right.
Use this AI to do this.
Right.
Put up your channel, boom, profit.
Right.
No,
it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. Super Chat.
Super Chat.
DIY Audio Guy is a channel that makes...
I'm pressing the buttons here.
Okay. Press it.
I'm pressing the button. So we're both in the StreamYard admin.
Yeah.
And both of us have access to the actual chat. So with StreamYard, if you don't use StreamYard, you tap on the chat and it shows up on screen. Mm-hmm. So I tap it and he was tapping it at the same time and undid it. Yep. Look, if you're going to push the buttons here, I'll leave.
Right.
I'm the one with the computer, the roadcaster, camera switcher.
I'm just so used to it.
Let's figure this out.
So DIY Audio Guy, just click the button again.
Oh, come on.
DIY Audio Guy is a channel that makes videos similar to mine, recently blew up. 400,000 subs in less than a month. I think he's buying subscribers. Is there any way to know for sure if a channel is doing this? So this isn't going to be what you want to hear. But when it comes to what other channels are doing, you know, like it doesn't even matter. So yes, if somebody is having sudden success, you can, if you're paying attention, which you are, you can think of like, hey, is there content that I could make if they have a video that's blowing up? Is there content that that is thriving on their channel right now that that I might be able to, you know, make something that is in contrast to that, or something that complements it, or something that answers the questions of some of the, you know, things that people are saying in the comments for that video and so on, to try to get attached to that video in some way. However, things like this in terms of, you know, a channel, you know, blowing up, if you were to go look to see if they were doing something shady, you can hit Social Blade for that so that you can see like what the spikes are. And then you can try to go to the channel itself and look for any corresponding response in the actual videos. So like if you notice like, hey, in the past month, they have like one video that's gotten like millions and millions of views on it, and that's fed other videos that have gotten millions and millions of views on them, and that's why they got, you know, the spike. Then in that particular case, it's like, yeah, it's probably legit. But if they're not getting many views on their videos, and then out of nowhere they get 400,000 subscribers, and they still don't get many views on their videos, they don't get hardly any comments at all, things like that, then in that particular case, you know, it is possible that maybe something shady is going on. But at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. Like the thing that matters is paying attention to any videos that they make that blow up. But in terms of the people that are subscribing to their YouTube channel, I would say that is like a pretty low importance thing, but I would definitely pay attention to any videos that are thriving, because that might be something that you can actually stem off of and create content around, versus, you know, people suddenly just, you know, responding to them. But all kinds of different things can happen. So yes, somebody can buy, you know, stuff, but you can also, you know, some people will do like press releases around their channels, and they'll get, you know, in like news publications and things like that. And because of that, you know, they'll get influxes of subscribers to their YouTube channel. People can go on TV, and they can get influxes, you know, from that. So let's say, since you're doing DIY audio, if somebody else is doing DIY audio, let's say like their local news covered them for whatever reason, then in that particular case, let's say they were doing the DIY audio, let's say they went to somebody's house and helped them install something. They happen to work in some news network. They're like, hey, this is great. Let's get you on our morning show or whatever. That can drive people in. Videos can be embedded in websites that are high traffic, and that can drive in a lot of viewership. People can share them in their community feeds. That can also bring a lot of viewership if it's coming from a you know, a high volume channel. You know, all kinds of different things can happen there. But the best thing to do is just look at the performance of the videos themselves and look at the comments of those videos, and then I'll tell you how many people are actually, you know, engaging in what it is that they're doing. But the reason you want to look at the videos themselves is because that just gives you good insights on content that they are making that people are responding to, which then might in turn, you know, inspire, you know, some content for you to make as well. But I know, like in situations like that, it's like, whoa, this channel's just like, you know, seemingly taking off out of nowhere. You know, other things happen too, like let's say that channel's just been grinding for a while, right? And then they make one video that does substantially better than all of the other content that they've published on the channel. And by substantially better, I mean, like, let's say it gets, you know, hundreds and hundreds of thousands or millions if they got a 400,000 subscriber jump, or millions of views. What can happen is YouTube identifies all of these millions of people responded well to this video. Let's test a bunch of content, you know, from the archive of this channel against those people as well. And if they're responding to it, then it just creates that snowball effect that you know, hear everybody talking about on YouTube, where they had that originating video that ended up taking off, and then that caused a trickle-down effect into all of the other content that YouTube is serving, because now YouTube knows that these people are responding well to this, and since they're responding well to this, then YouTube, you know, showing them the additional content, and then if people are also responding well to that, then, you know, they keep showing, you know, similar viewers this same content and all that, and it just balloons the channel. Let's see here. Jerry Pop Andrews says, I'm 3 weeks away from my 5-year anniversary posting consistently to YouTube. It's definitely a long game. Without question, it is. You know, like for those of you that are familiar with Mr. Beast, you know, like, you know, one of the things for him is people look at him and they're like, you know, well, hey, you know, Mr. Beast, you know, he's, you know, like, you know, one of the fastest growing channels on YouTube. And it's like, people don't realize that, you know, he was on YouTube for a decade before he, started really, starting to pick up steam. So, when it comes to this stuff, in some cases, like it can take some time. And in other cases, people will hit the ground running and they'll start doing awesome right out of the gate. So, it can go in all directions. So Perman Productions, Corey Perman says, I have a channel that is all parodies and comedy. I just released my first short Phil, which is serious. I want to re-release it on a new channel just for my short films. Will I get in trouble? So if you are releasing the same video on both channels, you can run into problems with like duplicate content. However, if you're altering that content in some way and then you're uploading it to that other channel, then you're fine. Or if you're putting it into a different format, then you can also be okay. So the very first thing that I would be thinking about is like, is there a way that I can modify this if I'm going to be updating, or if I'm going to be, publishing it over there or something else? Or is there a way that I can make this more appropriate for another format? Like, for example, just sharing like snippets of it in like YouTube Shorts as an example. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So we got some more ads coming in. So I'm actually just going to go in here to my YouTube backend, and I'm going to turn that off. First off, all you guys should have premium. Like, then you don't even have to worry about it. But I know some people are like anti-premium, so I'm going to see if I can actually turn this off here, right here during the stream. I don't think I can, but I'm gonna see. Just if it's if it's starting to get annoying to people, because I don't want you to have that experience. Andrew Can in the house. What's up, my dude? Hope you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't look like I can do that now, so I'll just have to keep that in mind for the next stream. So let's see here. So next up, we've got, let's see here, just looking down the thing here. See, Roberto says, I'm going to make a how to make $10,000 a month on YouTube video. Nice. Love it. Love it. Everybody subscribe to Roberto Blake so you can see that video. It's going to be jam-packed full of awesomeness. I guarantee it. So here, hard to break the habit when you're used to pressing the buttons. It is. Absolutely is. So Brian says, Nick and D, when the inevitable movie of the week, Growing Up Nimmin, when's the inevitable movie of the week, Growing Up Nimmin, comes out, who do you see playing the youthful version of each other? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's a really good question, and I'm so bad with names. Yeah, D is amazing with names when it comes to like movies and comics and like all this other stuff. He can remember all these obscure names. For me personally, I'm so bad with names that I struggle to remember like celebrities and things like that as well. So we'll wait for D to come in to answer that one. I'm sure he's got some people in mind already. So let's see here. So as we keep on trucking here, I'm going to jump back into the form. And the next question is from Traveling with Brian. Traveling with Brian uploads when he has time. He does travel and food content. The goal of the channel is to have fun, grow a community, earn money, and make the Nimmins proud. And the question is, I'm editing a video about last year's VidSummit that I attended, thanks to Daryl Eves getting me a ticket. Do I need to identify the video as sponsored when I upload? Hope to meet you guys at VidSummit 2023. So when you're uploading that video, if it was me, I wouldn't, but I don't know exactly how you're framing the video. If it was me, I would be framing it more as like, like, hey, this is a vlog of my experience. And in that particular case, it's not like you weren't giving that ticket in exchange for making that content. So therefore, it's not a sponsored piece of content. However, you were giving that out of winning a contest of some kind. And because of that, it inspired you to make the vlog. So, technically it's not, it's not sponsored content. And what he's talking about, by the way, just a heads up to everybody, is VidSummit. VidSummit is a conference for content creators. I actually have a link to it down in the description, or you can just go to vidsummit.com. But it's happening October 3rd through the 5th in Dallas, Texas. It is the conference for content creators. So if you're somebody that's taking this stuff seriously, I really encourage you to check out VidSummit so that you can just level up and you can network with other content creators. You can learn more of the business side of being a content creator, and you can learn how to really get the most out of the opportunity that we have here on YouTube. So you can check that information out at vidsummit.com, so you can see more information about that and then make the call. But it's going to be in Dallas, Texas, October 3rd through the 5th. So make sure that you check that out.
So what was the
question?
We're
actually going to give away some tickets later, too, by the way.
Giving away VidSummit tickets today.
Yep.
In-person tickets.
Yep.
We gave away 2 last week.
Mm-hmm. We're giving away 2 more this time.
What was the question about something about movies?
Really quick, yep. 1 second says, could building from Foodie Rush, thank you for the super chats. Could building my subs and active viewers through shorts only lead to more live viewers when I'm live? Would that be a viable strategy? So you can try it. So here's what happens is when you start interacting with a channel and their long form content, you'll start seeing shorts. And same thing with the shorts. If you start interacting with the shorts only, then YouTube will test some of the long form content against you as well. So it's definitely a bridge that they're building, and it's definitely something that's working. And YouTube also is slowly rolling out already, which it's not going to be fully rolled out until the end of September, but they're already starting to roll out the content links to where people can drop links from their shorts to drive people into live streams. You can also drive people into, video content and things like that if you're one of the channels that has the feature, enabled as they're slowly rolling this out. But yes, you could technically do that, but I wouldn't expect a lot from it because the scale that's going to happen at probably isn't going to be huge. So I wouldn't expect a lot from that. But if you are doing shorts anyway, then in that particular case, making sure that you do have a scheduled live stream, as you're publishing your shorts, have your live streams just scheduled, a little bit in advance in terms of maybe a day or two, so that you can make sure that, the people that are watching your shorts and that are interested in what it is that you're doing, if they hit your channel page, then they can see the live stream posted there. Or so that as they're interacting with your shorts, when they hit, their mobile feed again, or when they hit the YouTube homepage, that YouTube might show your scheduled live stream to them there. So just make sure that you're scheduling it with enough time as you're posting shorts for those people to be able to know that it's even going down. So the question, D.
Yeah.
And we've got one more super chat, I believe, as well. So we'll answer that one here in just a second.
Okay. What's the question?
And that's from the Blue Lounge. So we're going to answer yours here right after this. But Brian was saying if there was a movie growing up Nimmin.
If there were a movie growing up, okay.
What younger versions of ourselves, who would we play? Who would we have play the younger versions of ourselves?
Well, since we're doing a hypothetical,
yep,
then we have to say that the actors themselves would also be younger.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, because it would be the younger versions of ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to pick an actor and just say they would be younger.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe they would age them in the movie.
Okay. Or I mean, they could just be young now, though.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do. I would want.
Well, I mean, we don't have a movie Grown Up Nimmins either.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a hypothetical.
Yeah.
So if we're going into that wonderland, then that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to pick an older
Okay.
actors.
All right, go.
Who would you pick?
I don't know. Like that? Yeah, I don't know. Like whoever's the most handsome, Tom Cruise, maybe Brad Pitt. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I'd go with that. Maybe. Let's shave their head.
I would pick.
Just trying to at least represent myself well, right?
I would pick Jack Black.
Oh, okay, nice for me.
No, for me.
Oh, okay.
I would pick Jack Black for me.
That works. Okay.
Yeah.
Why Jack Black?
I don't know. I like Jack Black.
Yeah. Okay.
It would either be Jack Black or Will Ferrell.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you got the comedy side going over there. I like it. So I'm going for handsome. You're going for funny. That's a good combo. That works.
But I mean, those guys play it all, though.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
For you,
I don't think Jack Black plays handsome, though. I don't think he's ever played handsome. I think Will Smith has, though. The other guys, Will Smith,
I'd probably go with
other guys, Will Smith is super handsome. Right, like all the women in the other guys are like, oh, hey, handsome, right?
Or Wesley Snipes.
Okay, that's good.
Just to mix it up.
Just to mix it up, right? Yeah. Okay.
For you, would probably do like Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber era.
Okay, that's appropriate. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Who's the other guy in Dumb and Dumber?
Lloyd.
I can't remember the actor's name.
I don't know.
I think I might be more him than I would be Jim Carrey.
Lloyd. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's tough. I don't know.
Jim Carrey with a bowl cut. If he was a kid.
Our birds' heads are falling off. Yeah. I get behind that. Yeah. Okay. There it is. Yeah.
No.
Ooh, Jeff Bridges. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The dude.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'll be the dude. That works. Bridges. Yeah. Have like a younger version of the dude.
Jeff Daniels. That's what it was. Jeff Daniels.
Or Jeff.
Thank you.
Okay,
Jeff Daniels.
Okay. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. Wesley Snipes nailed it.
Yep. Yeah. So let's hear. So the next. So the super chat. Fun question, Brian. Thanks. For that.
So those are fun.
But
seriously though, Jack Black.
Okay. All right.
Jack Black. He's just fun. Jack Black's all around fun.
All right.
pretty bird. Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah.
Pretty bird. Oh my God.
So the Blue Lounge says they've been a YouTuber for 3 years. They've grown their channel to almost 20,000 subscribers. Nice work. Congratulations. Says, watching your content has helped me a lot. I want to say thank you. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for the kind words. I'm glad that you are having success with your YouTube channel, and keep crushing. Love it.
What number are you on now
it.
with the questions?
Right now I am on, I'm moving into number 13.
Okay.
So let's see here. Next up on our list here, we have Markinal Resenzi. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if not. They upload daily content. They've been on YouTube for a year or more. They do movie reviews, news, and trivia. The goal of the channel is being a full-time creator when the time is right. And the question is, hey guys, you're awesome. Cheers for your hard work. Thank you for the kind words. Says, I just got 5,000 subs the other day and I have 2 questions. High five, fist bump to you for 5,000 subscribers. Says, tags are not as important as many think, but how about tags and scheduled live streams? Will it help the algorithm to best find the audience before live? Closed captions in other language, it helps or not so much? Yeah, so when it comes to the captions, I'll hit that one first. So when it comes to the captions, what you want to think about there is you already have different demographics of people interacting with your YouTube channel. So because of that, what you want to think about when it comes to the captions is, yes, you can make them for the audience that you want to push into, but you also need to make sure that you're translating everything else as well in terms of your titles and descriptions for those people also. But the best practice there when it comes to captions is at least adding the captions in other languages for the people that are the most engaged with your channel. So for example, let's say that you have a lot of people from the Philippines interacting with your channel, then in that case having, Tagalog, translations in your content would just help them better to more easily understand the content. If you have people from Germany as one of your primary demographics, then in that particular case, having it to where they can, have the, easier accessibility with the content as well is also, something to consider. In the very near future, and this is already available, actually, you can already do this, but in terms of the workflow of actually having it made and all that, it's a little bit clunky, but you can translate the audio as well and get the audio put into the audio experience on YouTube so that when people are interacting with your content, not only do they see your title and your description from the outside, your title in their native language, but when they click on it, they can actually hear you in their native language as well, which is a pretty cool thing. And then, of course, from there, you'd have your description and your captions also in that language as well. So if you're really being aggressive about that, then in that particular case, providing all of those things for those people and those main demographics is definitely something to consider. When it comes to the tags, you can use tags. I still use them. I recommend everybody else still use them as well. They're not as important as they used to be. We used to, really, push people on making sure that they're using the right tags and, all that good stuff. But these days, it's just not as important as it used to be. But when it becomes zero important in terms of it makes no difference whatsoever, then in that particular case, YouTube will remove the box because there won't be any use for those tags. So because of that, just fill them out. Don't spend too much time on it. This is where a tool like TubeBuddy comes into play. And is extremely handy on the workflow side, because what you can do there is based on the title and the description of the video, TubeBuddy's going to give you the just a quick list of tags that make the most sense for how you optimize the video. And then you can just simply say, yes, this is relevant to my video. No, this one is not. Yes, this one is. So I'm going to add that and so on. You just click the tags and then it just quickly adds the tags. And then you can just move on, about the content without having to spend too much time on it. Andrew Can, thanks for super chat, my man. Says, thanks for all of the amazing content. A coffee on me at VidSummit. Love it, man. Looking forward to seeing you at VidSummit. I know you've been kind of like restricted in the past in terms of things like that. So it's going to be awesome to see you over there and hang out. Really looking forward to seeing you again.
Haven't seen Andrew in a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute for sure. Next up on our list here, we've got Gardening with Bear Brown. Gardening with Bear Brown. They upload 1 time per week or more. They do gardening content. The goal of the channel is to teach people how to grow food and do this full-time someday. And the question is, how do you deal with a long high in channel growth? Now everything is dropped somewhat. It's like a massive roller coaster. I just hit a major milestone 2 weeks ago. My last 2 videos flopped. So what you do, like if you are in that mode where you're like, hey, you know what, I'm like aggressively going after this, is when your last 2 videos flopped, you have to start trying to figure out why those videos flopped, right? Was it the topic of those videos? Was it how you package those videos? Does your audience retention tell you that people came into that video and they abandoned it quickly? Were the topics that you posted around something that just didn't have much of a broad reach within the niche of the content that you're offering? Like, why do you think that those videos flopped? And you want to start looking at that first. And then the next thing you want to do is you also want to start comparing those videos against the successful videos that you have on your channel, because the successful videos leave clues into how people respond to content in your channel at a high rate. So you want to make sure that you're always, considering that, and you're always comparing your content to those videos. But when it comes to, like you had, a long high in the channel growth, and then everything, tanked. So, that can be to where, you've changed something in your content, the topics that you're talking about, maybe you've modified it a little bit. You could have modified how you are communicating and people aren't responding to it as well that way. You could have gotten things like, you could be so good that you're polishing things too much and people liked the more amateur version of you, and that could cause people to not respond as well. Or the more amateur version of you, even for new viewers that haven't experienced your content, could just be more relatable to people. Therefore, the more polished stuff, it just isn't, working as well. There's all kinds of different variables. So that's why it's important to make sure that you are, checking how people are responding to the previous content compared to how people are responding to the new content, in order to kind of give you like a compass to what's going on there. Social Media Examiner in the house. Mike, what's going on, dude? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you in the stream here today.
How's it going,
really
Mike?
quick. Hope you're doing awesome, man. Hey, really quick, for everybody that does more than YouTube, like if you are, especially if you're a marketer and you're doing anything on any of the social platforms other than YouTube, and YouTube included, make sure you go check out the Social Media Examiner YouTube channel, because they have tons and tons and tons and tons of content over there that helps marketers leverage all of the social media platforms, not just YouTube, all of the social media platforms. So make sure that you check that out when you get the chance. Awesome to see you in here, Mike. I hope you're doing awesome, man.
Yep. Hope you're doing well.
So let's see here. So next up on the list, we have Home Rapid Repair. Says, our weekly videos often flatline in views after 3 days. Some take off again and appear to be evergreen forever. How can we predict which videos will be worth our time? So when you are publishing your content and they're basically flatlining after 3 days, what's happening is when you first publish your videos, and I mentioned this a lot in the live streams. You're in here a lot, so you've probably heard this a lot, but I'm saying it again just for just making sure. So when you publish your videos, the very first people that see those videos are the people that YouTube thinks are going to be the most likely to engage with and enjoy that content at that moment in time. That's why when we first publish our videos, usually our metrics are higher at that time, because the audience for that content is like laser fit, right? And then from there, based on how those people respond to the content, then it goes out to a broader group of people. And then based on how they respond, it goes out to a broader group of people or not. And things just start slowing down based on, how broad of a reach that content is getting, or how, people are responding to it as it goes out into broader audiences. So because of that, what's likely to be happening with your content right now is the people that are likely to be the most engaged when YouTube is showing it to them, they're enjoying it. But then when it starts going out to these broader audiences, either one, you're having trouble capturing their attention, letting them know that, hey, this is what the video is about in terms of, how you're packaging it up with the topic, title, and thumbnail. Or just as it's going out to those people, they're just not responding as well. And because of that, it's causing a faster fall off in terms of, it just not being as high of a performing piece of content from the viewer perspective, right? So because of that, the first thing that I would do, instead of just looking at the topics themselves, which is also a part of it, I'm going to get to in a second, but the very first thing to do would be to go in and start tracking your content. Like, okay, if everything's falling off after 3 days, let me go in to content that's been on the platform for a week or 30 days or 90 days and start looking to see, how people are responding over those times, and see if you find where people, kind of fall off, and then YouTube starts, continuing to show it to people, but people start having, a better response over time because they align better with, the right audience for that content. I would definitely look into that. In addition to that, in terms of predicting which videos will be worth your time, this really comes comes down to the nuance of understanding your audience. So it comes down to the nuance of understanding your audience. It also comes down to the history that you have on your YouTube channel and looking to see, like, okay, out of all the videos that I have on my YouTube channel, if it's 10 or if it's, 1,000, looking at all the videos that you have on your channel and saying, historically, what do people typically like when I publish it based on the topics of the videos? And then from there, thinking of variations of those that you can do, ways that you can kind of repackage similar ideas, things like that, in order to, at least as part of your content strategy, have it to where you're publishing videos like that on a regular basis for the stuff that people are, responding to well historically, while you're testing additional content, testing different ideas, things like that, and being more experimental, so that you can kind of rely on the stuff that historically works while you're trying to push into new, into new grounds with the newer content that you're publishing. So I would definitely look at those. But when it comes to predicting it, it really comes down to your audience. Like Dee and I will have conversations sometimes where I'm like, man, I'm getting ready to publish this video. Probably not going to do that great, but I just need to get this information out there, whatever the thing is. And it's just because I've got a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel. I think I've crossed like 700 pieces of content that are, public on the channel right now. And, in addition to my channel, I also make, content for other channels and stuff like that too. So I have a, good understanding of, topically, like I can usually pick it when something's going to do okay. But, sometimes I get it wrong, just like everybody else. And sometimes, something will completely, surprise me. But the thing that is helpful, though, that I found helpful is embedding yourself in the communities around the type of content that you make. Because what you can start doing, and just so you guys know, when I'm sitting here answering these questions, right, like you are putting your questions in the form down in the description. So I'm using this for two things. One, I'm using this to provide direct value to you through the questions that I'm answering, but this is also helping me keep a pulse on what it is that you guys are caring about right now. So there's periods of time to where, I'll notice like, hey, everybody's talking about trying to figure out how to make more money. There's periods of time where people are like, hey man, like my views are just tanking right now and everything was going great. And then now everything's down. And then that becomes a common thread. So like when I start noticing these things based on these questions that you guys are asking, this is just one of the ways that it keeps me in tune with what it is that you guys care about. And then, I'm always hanging out in the Reddit communities, the Facebook groups and all of that around YouTube as well. And that just kind of helps me keep a pace or a pulse on things. So in your particular case, you should be doing the same exact thing. And you can also use all of these different communities as information sources in terms of asking questions around the type of content you make. You don't even have to mention that you have a YouTube channel. Just being like, hey, so, you're trying to, repair your home. What are the biggest problems you guys are having? What are some, things that you're running into when you're trying to do those repairs and things like that? And everybody here, you can apply this to the type of content you make. But when you're hanging out in those communities and you're engaging and you're asking those questions, it can give you tons of insights. And over time, you start learning like, okay, these are the things people like really care about. These are the things that people think they care about, but they really care about this. These are the things that, people are like, if I can just figure out how to get them this, they're going to just go bonkers over it. Like it really starts helping you be able to paint a picture of what people, are really caring about when it comes to your content.
So it's 10 o'clock for us PM.
It is.
What do you say we give away a VidSummit ticket?
Let's do it. And then really quick before we do that, let me answer Nomadic Introvert's question.
Okay.
And then we'll do the giveaway.
All right, let's do it.
So Nomadic Introvert says, if I pay for a YouTube music subscription, can I use that music in my videos and still monetize them? No. So YouTube Music as a viewer is completely different than what it is that they offer through their creator music.
Clear as mud.
So yeah, so because of that, no, you absolutely cannot do that. That does not give you that permission. So if you are going to be using music from YouTube, you want to make sure that you're doing that through their creator music options that they have there. Or of course you can use Creator Mix and then you don't have to worry about it. But when it comes to that though, as a listener of YouTube Music, that does not give you permission to use it in your YouTube videos. So yeah, let's do a giveaway.
All right. Roberto says after the stream today, he's going to video drop it.
Nice. Love it.
All right. So the word you see on the screen right now, VidSummit.
Oh, you already got it up.
No space. Type in VidSummit only if you're able to go in person to VidSummit. And when is VidSummit? Where is it at?
So VidSummit is October 3rd through the 5th. It's happening in Dallas, Texas. It is the conference for YouTube content creators where you can go. You can learn about YouTube. You can learn about the business of YouTube. You can interact with other successful content creators and other people that are, on the come up and trying to figure this stuff out as well. But VidSummit is like the conference for YouTube content creators. And when you are putting the word VidSummit into the chat here, please make sure that you can actually go, because if you can't go, then you can be taking that opportunity from somebody else that that can. So in the last stream last Saturday, I mentioned Natalie from Design to the Nines. She actually came in and left a comment on the replay, and she was like, "Yeah, completely changed my life. My product is actually dropping soon."
She's got her own product.
Yeah, she's got her own product now. Yeah, she's got her own stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
what a journey.
Yeah. Right.
I remember hanging out with her at that VidSummit. Yeah. It was like her first one. She won the ticket. She was so excited.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So like this is, this can be a big deal for some content creators. So so definitely make sure that you can
$1,000 a ticket.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is not for your accommodation. It is not for your travel.
Yep.
It is for the ticket
Conference only.
Conference only, worth $1,000 US.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll
so what do we got? We're at 47 right now.
Yeah. Let's answer some more questions.
Yeah. Let's hit 50. And then we'll pull this, and then we'll get back into the questions.
Okay. So go ahead and.
So Renee says he'll be at VidSummit this year. Awesome. I know Renee's going to be there. Roberto is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Of course, like Mr. Beast is going to be presenting there. I think Mark Rober's presenting there again. Daryl Leaves, of course. It's his conference. A lot of Zach King, for those of you that watch Zach King. I think Ryan Trahan's going to be back again this year as well. But a lot of the content creators you watch actually go to VidSummit to share, how it is that they do what they do. Okay, so let's pull it.
How they do what they do.
Yep.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right.
So is it this that I hit? I do the drum roll here on the mic? Is that the rule?
I can do it.
The helicopter?
I can do it.
I'm doing it right now.
Otherwise.
I'm doing it right now.
Too slow.
Oh, okay, go.
Here's what you got to do.
Go.
2 fingers.
Okay. Okay, go. But you got to hit the button too.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Okay, so here we go.
Ready?
VidSummit winners coming in.
Hey, I saw Roger in there. Hey, Roger.
Roger Wakefield, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing great.
I got a feeling Roger's already got his ticket.
I think so, too.
Ooh, Poodle Professor.
Poodle Professor.
Congratulations.
Congratulations
Poodle
to you.
Professor.
So Poodle Professor, what you need to do is you need to DM me on Twitter. If you DM me on Twitter, then I can get the information that I need from you to pass that on to Daryl's team so that they can get you your ticket information. Keep in mind, it can take a little bit of time for that email to come back into you for confirmation of everything and all of that.
Wait,
so
did
if
she
you can
win last week?
I'm not sure. Did she?
Somebody just said she went. Nikki just said she won last week.
Oh, nice. That's
no
a
way.
win.
No way.
Yep, that's 2 people that have won 2 times in a row.
This is rigged.
This is crazy. So here's the thing. Even if you won last week, that's fine. So you can either gift your ticket if you want to. Technically, you could sell it if you wanted to, if you could find somebody to buy it. But the idea is just make sure that we are in that case we're already connected on Twitter. So just shoot me a DM real quick and just say like, hey, I won another one. But just for clarity, in the event that you were not one of the winners last week, but I think it was actually, yeah, you were, I think. But anyway,
unbelievable.
Yeah. So yeah, just shoot me that email just so I can add it to my list when I'm submitting the ones for this week. Congratulations, double time.
That's unbelievable.
In that particular case, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's great. It's great though. Okay, so next up on our list, and we're gonna do another one of those here in just a little bit, but now we're gonna go back into the questions so we can deliver the value that we're trying to do.
I wonder if, since they won twice, if one could be a voucher for 2024.
I think it's just for this event.
It's only for this one.
Yeah. Yeah. But they can use it as a +1 or something like that.
A +1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if they wanted to bring a friend or something like that, then they can definitely do it. Like the other person that won 2 over the last couple of weeks, she the second one is for her spouse to come.
So we missed a super chat apparently from a truly nerdy family. I just put it on the screen right there. The question is: we play video games, reactions, openings, and challenges. Growing okay? Is it too much variety? Check the page for a better understanding, maybe? Question mark. Thank you.
So you're doing video games, reactions, openings, and challenges. So is this all around video games? Hold on, I will check.
It's a family. So I guess it would be a family channel, but it's a truly
Yeah, I'm looking
family.
for it right now here. Says, yeah, so she said she won last week and she's going to bring a friend. Fantastic. Yeah, congratulations. I love that. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Absolutely great.
Yeah.
Because that'll make the experience better, right? Like if you can have, a buddy.
Not VidSummit or VidCon or any of that, but I've been to other conferences by myself, and as someone who generally keeps to themselves, it can be challenging sometimes. So being able to go with somebody, I think, is huge.
Yeah, because then you have that that buddy that you can get that feedback with and stuff. Yeah, it's great.
Congratulations on that. That's awesome.
So I'm looking for the truly nerdy family. I'm just gonna search for it and make it easy here. If you wanna hold the fort for me for a second, D.
And again, so we've got another one of these tickets to give away. So this is the first one. We've got another one to give away. And do we have another one next week too? 2 more next week? Do you know?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So one more. We'll give that away here. Maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes from now or so.
Just when we feel the vibe.
Yeah. Whenever we feel the vibe. Whenever
we
we feel the vibe, we're gonna give that away. We'll have that away.
Let's see here. So
what do you got?
Yeah, here. So basically, they have a daycare gameplay thing going on.
Okay.
Over here. Yeah. So it looks like all of these at a glance are. Oh no, this one's like a cartoon animation.
So just as a heads up, hold on. If you're watching this on the replay, this is not valid for you. The giveaway is only for people.
It's happening live.
It's happening live. It is not happening for the replay.
Correct.
So you do not have to leave a comment and type this in.
Correct.
This is only for the people that's in the chat right now while this is happening live.
Correct.
Great question there, Miss Belly Games.
So here's the thing, truly nerdy family. Like you've grown your channel to 13,000 subscribers. Your long form content isn't getting like a ton of views on it. Some of your shorts are doing okay, but your long form content, it doesn't look like is getting a ton of activity on it. But because you are consistently doing like reactions and then you're consistently doing some of the gaming stuff, like the main thing that you just have to make sure that you're doing, like this one here, right? You have your most popular video has 296,000 views. You published this a year ago. And you have the content of this one is that the darkness takes over game tunes. So what's going to happen here, and then you have like a Pokemon as the next one with 154,000 9 months ago, Among Us. So you're already covering these different games. You're already getting response from this. So what you're offering on your channel is entertainment. You're not offering like, anything on a specific game or anything like that. You're offering entertainment. So the way that you're currently doing it, I think is okay in terms of, like, hey, we're still targeting like younger people that are into these subjects, and we're kind of packaging everything that way, but we're giving them a little bit of a variety there. I think that you're okay with that, but one thing that I would definitely just make sure that you are clear on is like that part that I'm saying right now about the audience itself, right? Like just make sure that you are super clear on who it is that you're trying to reach with the content. So for example, I see that you're making this with your kid. So in that particular case, because you're in the thumbnails a lot and your kid is in the thumbnails a lot. So you just want to, make sure that you're clear. Like, are you trying to reach the kids or are you trying to reach adults with it? And by making that difference, or by making that clear, it's going to be easier to reach who it is that you're wanting to reach with the content. Because right now there might be people that aren't clicking on it because you're in the thumbnail, or there might be people that's clicking on it because he's in the thumbnail. So I would definitely make sure that you're getting clear on what you're trying to do, and then start optimizing everything around that. But one thing that I can tell you is, like, with some of your new videos, how they're like, some of these are kind of rough in terms of the response that you're getting compared to the response that you've had in the past. So, because of that, one thing that I would definitely do is go in and start analyzing some of your old content that did perform well. And there's some things you have to consider, like, because this is game related, and kind of like pop culture, with Pokemon and stuff like that. So like one thing that you have to consider as part of this is like timing. Like, was there a trend that you hopped on, things like that? Was that what made the difference? Or was it just how people responded to the content? Did they just respond at a high rate? And what you want to start doing is you want to start looking at what it is that you're doing now compared to what it was that you were doing before, and look at everything. Look at, how you're designing your thumbnails, look at the structure of your titles, look at the structure of the videos themselves, like how did you start your videos? What did you do after, that initial, hook part was over? Look at how you're ending your videos. Look if you're sending people to other videos or not. not. At the end of the video, look for things like that to see if there's anything that you're doing differently now that could be causing some of that, difference in response. And then there's also, competition as well. Like if you had a substantial amount of people all of a sudden start making content around this space, then, that can eat up some of your traffic as well. So because of that, you might need to do things at like a higher, competitive level. Like for me, like in my case, it used to be easier for me to get views on my stuff because there wasn't as many people talking about YouTube. Now, like everybody has a channel, not everybody, but there's a lot of people that have channels now about this. So because of that, it eats into the traffic, which means that for me to compete, that I have to be better than I was in the past, right? So because of that, that type of thing can happen to, everybody as time goes on. But, you're at 13,000 subscribers, so you're getting people to respond to what it is that you're doing. The thing that you have to figure out is why people are responding, or they're responding in the past, but they're not responding now. Because what you have, with the exception of 3 weeks ago, is you have consistently, like extremely, actually, you actually had 3 weeks ago that got, one has 26,000 views. The other one has 16,000 views. So you're still putting out content that people are responding to. It's just not, oh, I see.
Oh.
Hold on. 5 months, 4 months, and then 4 weeks. So you took a 3-month break on your YouTube channel as well. Views were down anyway, but you took a 3-month break, so that can work against you as well sometimes. So you might need to build back up from that, but you've put out a decent amount of content. So yeah, I would really just start comparing the content back and forth, and start using the grouping feature in YouTube to look at the content that people are responding to compared to what it is that they're not. What I mean by that is if you go into your YouTube analytics, if you go into advanced mode, which is a blue button that you click, or blue word at the top of the screen that you click on, it says advanced mode. Click on that, and then once you're in there, if you click on your channel name, then there's going to be a dialog box, or not dialog, but there's going to be a box that pops up. The third tab over, I think it is, you're going to see something that says groups. Click on that, and then start taking your content and saying, okay, these are the videos where we're making TikTok references. That's one group. These are the videos where we are doing Secrets Exposed as our series. This is another group where we are doing like Cassie and Gregory, and this one's another group where we're doing Pokemon. And start comparing those against each other, and start trying to figure out if people are historically responding to one content type much more than they are the others. And then from there, whatever it is that you learn from that, you should definitely start doubling down on that. Maybe lose some of the topics that you talk about that people aren't responding to, and just start doing more of the stuff that people are responding to. But really, I think just comparisons between your high performing videos, the response that they're getting compared to the videos that aren't getting that high response, I think you'll learn a lot from just sitting down and looking at the details of what you were doing in the old videos compared to what it is that you're doing now.
So we had some clarity. I talked about the replay, and Miss Bella was, I didn't read it correctly. Miss Bella Games says, will you be giving away for the replay tickets? She meant VidSummit replay.
No, this is just in-person tickets.
Do you know if at any time we will have those? Did you mention that?
To my understanding, no. It's just the it's just the other one. So maybe after the event or something like that, maybe, but I don't know.
Or maybe if he gets closer to the event, maybe he'll
I'm not sure.
I know he has in the past.
Yeah, the only
we don't know.
The only thing that that I've been given is just the stack of in-person tickets,
which is pretty incredible.
It is. It is absolutely.
Yeah.
So far, if you look at the numbers, like so far, we've probably given away, I don't know, probably at least $10,000 worth of tickets so far. Yeah. So over his stream where he was on, plus these streams, plus there was another one that we did, I believe, as well, that we gave away like 3 or 4. So yeah, like it's definitely adding up.
Yeah.
So let's see here. So next up, we've got the Wooden Hobbyist. Says, hey, Trouble CTR retention rate is growing, and I'm at almost 1.7 thousand subscribers. I've made 20 thumbnails and still had a 2.2 click-through rate on the last video. I had success at 14% click-through rate and copy that approach. What else can I do? Pay attention to where your views are coming from. That's really important. So you could be making changes to your thumbnails that are negatively impacting you in traffic sources that might be important to you. So what you want to make sure that you're looking at when it comes to your click-through rate is a lot of content creators will just look at people call it the performance funnel, but it's basically like the upside down triangle thing that you see in your quick view YouTube analytics. So a lot of people will take the information that they see there at face value, and they'll say like, hey, my click-through rate is, 2%, or it's, 5% or 15% or whatever they see. And they'll just call it a day at that. And then they'll go in and they'll start making changes to their channel without understanding the deeper information behind that image that they're seeing there. So what you want to do is you want to go into your traffic sources report for the videos in question that you're messing with, and you want to go and you want to see the click-through rate that you're getting from the traffic sources there, or the different pages on YouTube compared to the impressions that you're getting. So when you have lower impressions on a video, typically, it doesn't always work this way, but typically when you publish a video and it doesn't have a lot of views on it, it's relatively easy to keep the numbers high on your click-through rate. But when you publish videos and it gets a lot of views on it, then it typically pushes down your click-through rate as your content goes out into broader audiences of people that aren't just a prime candidate for that content. So it typically not suppresses the numbers, but it typically pushes the numbers down. So because of that, one, you have to consider how many views you're getting, right? So you're saying that you're like you change your thumbnail like 20 times. So you got to make sure that you're, thinking about that. Two, you also, when you're in your traffic sources report, you can go in and you can see your homepage traffic that you're getting from that video. You can see the impressions that you're getting on home pages. You can see your click-through rate and your average view duration that you're getting from home pages. You can see it from search, suggested videos, your channel page, things like that. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're paying attention, of course, to YouTube's recommendations, which is browse features and suggested videos. And then you also want to make sure that you're paying attention to search if that's important to you. If search is not important to you and that's not a place where you're trying to get traffic from, then in that case, just focus on browse and suggested and use that as your gauge for how your thumbnails are actually performing on those specific pages, and only make changes if you're performing there in a way that's low compared to how your videos typically perform. And also keep in mind that you can use that information when you're making your thumbnails as well. So let's say that you're not performing as well in suggested videos, which, by the way, suggested videos typically gets a lower click-through rate anyway. But when you are not performing as well in suggested videos, it could simply be because there's too much going on in your thumbnail, or maybe the thing that you're trying to focus the viewer on, it's not, like it's being obstructed in some way by something else in the thumbnail, or it's not big enough. It can also be that the important parts of your title that would help the viewer identify that your content's something they might care about, those could be getting truncated and cutting off based on how you're structuring your titles as well. And those types of things can make a difference. So when you're looking at your click-through rate, one, you got to make sure you're looking at all the traffic sources and all that, but keep in mind that it's not always your thumbnail. Sometimes your click-through rate is also sometimes it's always impacted by your title as well. And nowadays, if your thumbnail grabs somebody's attention for people that are mobile viewers, or if they're using their mouse to kind of hover around the homepage, then YouTube has the autoplay now. So another thing that you have to factor in now as well is like, okay, when this autoplay starts and YouTube is starting to show these first parts of my video, what's going on? Is there anything that's happening there to where I could, give more, context about the video, to where I could show something enticing that might pull people into the video, like what's happening there? So you want to make sure that you're keeping that in mind as well, with these updates that YouTube is rolling out, or not rolling out, but that they've rolled out with that autoplay feature. But another thing to think about too is when it comes to you changing your thumbnails, and there's just a lot of information here, that's why I'm continuing to go on with it. But when it comes to changing your thumbnails, a big thing that I see here is like, if you're changing your thumbnail 20 times, like you're not giving your thumbnail like enough time to even like really be tested. So, because of that, just keep in mind that, when you're changing your thumbnails, you want to change it and then give it some time to see how people are responding to it. And then from there, decide to make the change or not. But, changing your thumbnails 20 times,
that seems a bit excessive.
It's a lot. Depending on the time. I mean, maybe it's been over the year, maybe, I'm not sure. But keep in mind that, good.
I'll forget this. Some people change thumbnails and make changes so small that they can't be noticed by people.
Right.
I've seen that a lot. So make sure that the changes you're making are actually significant enough to make a difference.
Yeah.
I've seen people make changes. Go, what do you think between the two? And it's like those pictures. Spot the difference.
Right.
And you're like,
yeah, it's the same thumbnail.
What's
except
different?
For maybe like, oh, you changed the color of your shirt. Got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just making sure that you're paying attention to that, and that you're also just considering that, you know, when you are publishing the, you know, video, that it is going out to different groups of people at different times. So when you are making those changes, it's better to be strategic about those changes. So for example, let's say when your video first gets published, then in that particular case, at the time of publish, having your face in the thumbnail could be advantageous if you're a creator that shows your face. And if you already have, you know, a following of some kind, because then those people that are already familiar with you can identify that it's your content, and they can come into your video from there if they like your stuff. But then as it goes out into newer audiences, those people that are not as familiar with you, in that particular case, they don't even really care, right? So because of that, you know, if you are making changes to your thumbnail, you want to consider like, hey, this might be going in front of a lot of people that are not even, you know, familiar with my stuff anyway. So therefore, should I even bother putting myself in the thumbnail? And the drastic change that I'm going to make it wildly different is, instead of having me in the thumbnail, I'm going to take that away and just make something graphical to see if people respond to that better, right? But I wouldn't do that with changing your thumbnail so many times if you're doing it quickly. Another really important thing that everybody should always consider when it comes to YouTube is when you publish your videos, regardless also of what it says in your 1 to 10, you know, metric of how your videos have beat out, you know, the last 10 or not. You want to make sure that you're not always basing everything on that, and that you're not always basing everything on the initial performance of the video. View velocity is a thing. It is something that, you know, is great to get, you know, initial viewership into the video, so that it quickly teaches YouTube who the right people are for the video and who the right people are not for the video. But you really want to make sure that you're mostly paying attention to, yes, how do my initial engaged audience, how do they respond to this at the time of publish? But then give it time. You know, give it, you know, 30 days, you know, give it 90 days and look back at that video and see what's happening with it then. Because what also can happen is you can publish a video and, you know, maybe it starts doing like okay, and then YouTube takes it into a broader group, but they don't respond as well. But then YouTube tests it against other people, you know, 2 weeks down the road, and they start responding well to it, and YouTube starts putting it against that particular group, and they all start responding well to it, which then leads it into another group. And then next thing you know, you've got a decent amount of views on that video that you thought was a failure initially. So make sure that you don't always just give up on a video just because it doesn't do well out of the gate, is kind of what I'm trying to get at there. Same thing with
really long answer.
It was, but there's
I was
just
like on my phone over there looking for stuff to do.
Seriously, there's so much about click-through rate that we could probably talk about it for the entire live stream.
Yeah.
In terms of just like, I mean, there's just so much, because, you know, there's so many things that impact it. And, you know, along with that, you're also like, in addition,
we're still talking about it.
I know, right? In addition to competing with, you know, against your own averages, you're also competing with all of the other videos that YouTube thinks that your audience is likely to engage with at whatever point in that process you are with going into these different groups. Right. And within that,
with every traffic source.
Yeah, with every traffic source. Right. And within that, since you are, you know, since that part of it is constantly modifying, like you could change a thumbnail that like a group further down the road could respond to at a high rate, but you're changing it back here because you think that, you know, or because, you know, it looks like the people, you know, this far in the journey aren't responding to it, you know, as much.
When it comes to click-through rate, I like to think of it in terms of don't walk up to the window and smash your nose against, right? Like don't smash your nose against the metric. Back up and look at it from afar and look at everything that's playing in context with that metric, right? Look at the different traffic sources instead of just like, oh, I've got a 2.2 click-through rate.
Right.
And but you know, if you change that, like it could.
And there's also just the title. Like your thumbnails might be banging. But your title might be like, people might see your title and be like,
they work in conjunction.
Right.
They're it's not, they're a team. Exactly.
They work together as a team to win the click.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a team effort. Right.
Yep.
So back up, look at everything, look at the traffic sources. It could be your title.
Yep. Yeah,
right?
you could have an awesome thumbnail, but your title's just turning people off, right? So there's just so many variables there. So like, you know, don't always just spin it on the thumbnail.
Yeah. And
just remember too, like when you change your thumbnails, like even though the first one was low, any changes that you make, it will change, or it could change because a response, a different response in viewers, but that response isn't always positive either. Like you can change a thumbnail and cause your video to go in the opposite direction that you were, you know, trying to get it to go.
I've done that before.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Yeah.
I've done, and you've probably done it too. I've changed thumbnails and it got worse. So I'm like, oh, I'll make a new one, and it got worse.
Right.
I make a new one, and it got worse. And then I went back to the original, and it just came back up. Other things too. Like, just because it's low right now doesn't necessarily mean that a month from now or 3 months from now, it's not absolutely crushing.
Right.
Like, sometimes it just takes a while for YouTube to get your videos in front of the right audience.
Right, to just nail it.
To just nail it.
Right.
Yeah, I've had videos, right, because I get a lot of search traffic because it's, you know, utility type channel. But I've had videos where I put out there, out of the gate, thumbnails, no big deal. 6 months later, 18%, 20%, 500,000 views. You know, so the changes can happen when YouTube figures out who the right audience is, the right traffic sources, etc.
And sometimes, you know, sometimes you
get it
just don't
wrong.
hit a home run too.
Sometimes,
Yeah, sometimes it's just like, hey, you know, maybe the thumbnail and all that stuff is fine, but maybe the video just isn't great. Right. And since the video isn't getting a good response, then, you know, then it's causing everything to not do, you know, that well.
Yeah, a lot of variables.
Yep. So
I've given up. I've given up sometimes on thumbnails too.
Really?
Yeah. I've made them, and it's just like, and I just can't get it. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna plant the seed and see if it grows.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't,
and that's an important part of YouTube too, in terms of, you know, things that people got to consider. You know, like you know, the planting seed idea.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're putting the videos out, you know, sometimes it does take, you know, sometimes videos will just hit, and sometimes just right out of the gate, it's like, bam,
Home
this is
run.
great, right?
Yeah.
But then other times, you know, it can just take a while to you know, just accumulate viewership on a video.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. My channel, you know, if I were operating at the level of one of the major players on YouTube, where you've got a team of people and you're analyzing every single metric at all times, you know, Mr. Beast or Mark Rober, they're operating at a different level. I'm sure they're changing stuff very quickly.
Sure.
But for what I do,
they get data at scale though.
They get,
right?
That's what I'm saying. They get data at scale. But for what I do and probably what you do, I don't sweat too much over it. I'll put it out there, watch it for a little bit, make a couple changes, plant a seed, let it grow, see what happens over time.
So the next super chat here is from Rude Pie Guy. Says, my channel is a disaster. Please help me. I'm burning down into ashes. It's a mess. It's so bad it's comedic. So just really quick, so I'm looking at what it is that you're publishing. So it looks like you know, you published a year ago, and then you just started publishing videos again 2 months ago.
Oh, there you go.
And the videos that you're publishing, the content is like really varied as well. So you have, for example, like, you know, Skyrim VR as one video, and then you have as the next video, like the best AI advertising ever. So, you know, the AI video, you got 10,000 views on it, but the Skyrim video, you have 16 views on it. So, you know, that tells you what content you should experiment with making more of. But then you actually tried it and you say, you know, AI exposed YouTube, why gaming YouTube channels fail. And then in that particular case, that's also way outside of the right audience for the people that responded to your best AI advertising video ever. So, you know, you're another channel that's in one of those situations where the best thing that you can do right now is over the next, like, you know, day, over the next, you know, before you make your next video, sit back and think to yourself, okay, what am I actually trying to do here? What am I trying to do with my YouTube channel? What am I trying to actually accomplish in terms of the value that I'm providing to others? What am I trying to accomplish in terms of the return value that I'm going to get from, you know, the efforts I put into my content? Like, what is it I'm trying to do? Who is it that I'm trying to reach with my content? And how can I get as clear as possible on that? And you say right here that you don't want to be an AI channel, though, then you shouldn't be making content about AI.
Yes.
Right? Because if you don't want to be an AI channel and you publish videos on AI, if people come in and let's say the next video you publish, if it was on AI, let's say theoretically that video ends up getting 1 million views on it. And then it ends up giving you, you know, 50,000 subscribers overnight. Guess what's going to happen? Those people are going to expect AI content from you. So what you want to make sure that you're thinking about is like, okay, if I'm going to be publishing videos to my channel, even if I'm doing variety content right now while I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, I'm only going to publish videos on content that I can see myself making for a long period of time into the future. And the reason that you do that is because if you have a video take off on that subject matter, then it's like, hey, here's a green light. I'm going to double down on this, and then, you know, we're going to be talking about that for a while. Versus like I'm making content about things that I don't really want to talk about just for the sake of trying to tap into trends and things like that. And then everything, you know, ends up, you know, taking off that way. So, and you say, why is Canoes Gaming so successful? I'm not sure who Canoes Gaming is, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they've done. I'm not sure, you know, anything about their content. But if you're talking about like variety, most successful channels on YouTube, not all, but most successful channels on YouTube they have a very clear audience. They know who it is that they're trying to serve with their content, and they continually do that, even if it might seem like they're making content that is, variety. They are still making content for a particular type of viewer, which is the whole idea that I was saying in terms of, getting very clear on who it is that you're trying to reach with your content. And then if you're going to do variety, then making sure that that variety is in alignment with those people that you're trying to serve. So the example that I like to give for this one is, since you guys are YouTube content creators and you come to my channel to learn about all these different things about YouTube and, the tools and how to grow your channels and stuff like that and best practices, one of the things that I could do on this channel from time to time, if I, was going to experiment with this particular idea, is I could do skits on my channel, right? I'd probably do it as shorts if I was going to do it, but I could do skits on my channel. But if I did skits on my channel, I wouldn't do skits on things that are happening in the news or politics or, phone technology or anything like that. I would do skits based around things that YouTube content creators or content creators in general could resonate with. So then that way, all of the people that I would have subscribing to the YouTube channel from that particular content, they could still get value from the other content that I'm publishing on the channel, right? That's the whole idea. So even though it would seem like it's a completely different, thing for my channel, which it would be, it would still be targeted towards the same people on the YouTube channel, which is content creators. So because of that, just make sure that you're getting really clear on, what it is that you want out of your channel and who it is that you're trying to reach with your channel. And then once you know those two things, then you can build your entire content strategy and your entire YouTube channel and your entire online brand around achieving what it is that you want through providing content that adds value to that target demographic or that target audience that you're trying to reach. Let's see
I want
here.
to add something else.
Please do.
Talking about
and I'm going to step away real quick, so take it away, D.
Yeah, what number were you on in the
right now, I am on 14, so the next one would be 15.
Okay, I don't know if I get to that tonight or not, but I want to say this. So Roberto Blake has a channel. He has another channel where he's not making custom thumbnails at all. I'm going to go back to thumbnails and click-through rate. And Roberto, I don't know if you're still in here or not, but right now would be a great time for you to mention how that's still doing. And if you've changed this, let me know. But the last time,
it's just a white thumbnail.
It's a white thumbnail, right? Sometimes you don't even have to make the thumbnail. So Roberto is letting YouTube select the thumbnails for all of the videos on his other channel. And Roberto, please chime in on this. And it's doing all right. It's doing all right. The most important thing is getting that content in front of the right audience. I think he talked about this before. Hey, Heidi, how you doing? Nice to see you. So I'm going to go into the forum here. Question here question comes from Camp Brood. Camp Brood has a channel for hiking and visiting national parks. Their goal is to help others with their national park trips. That is really cool. Question is, what are the benefits of using a website/blog and the YouTube channel together? How do you maximize both those platforms to get more video views? The easy answer to that is you're really going after two different audiences here. Some people still like to read. Some people like to watch things in video format. So you could do two different things. One, you could just write a blog post about the topic and you could embed your actual YouTube video in that. Or you could transcribe what you say in the video. Obviously, you'd have to edit that a little bit. Use that as a blog post, and at the end of that blog post, you could embed your actual YouTube video on that as well for people who do want to come in and watch the video. If you're doing instructions on how to visit national parks, I would think there are going to be a lot of people who are going to come across your blog. Maybe you're going to have images, right? So you're going to have all the text coming in. Maybe you're going to show certain images along with the text. You get to the bottom, and there's your video for people who want to go in and watch it that way. So that's how I would do it. For all the people who do find you through Google or any other way that they find your actual blog, that's going to send people into YouTube. Next question. Next question is, moving on, hang on one second here. Next question comes, where's it at? Next question comes from Fash Fab Beauty. How long have you been making videos? Less than a year? What type of channel do you have? It is a beauty channel. What is the goal of the channel? Monetization, to become a full-time creator. What is the question? The question is, there are people in my email say I have no SEO after they looked over my channel. I've never asked them to. Do I need to get that to get subscribers? Okay, so what it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, people have just left comments or sent you emails saying you don't have any SEO on your channel. I can't look at your channel. I don't have this set up to pull you up right now. Nick might be able to pull that up when he gets back. SEO, search engine optimization, is technically on YouTube. It's just using keywords that your audience will identify. So if you're a beauty channel, then you're going to have specific keywords that are related to that video. Let's just say you're doing a video about a hair product. You're definitely going to put that hair product, whatever it's called, in your title. Put it down into your description. So when people are talking about SEO, they're talking about keyword-rich titles, keyword-rich descriptions that will help people, or help YouTube understand what your video is about.
Yeah,
can you pull the channel up? Are you able to see that?
The whole idea there is YouTube's default filtering for YouTube search is based on relevance. So what they are trying to do ultimately is they're trying to generate as much watch time per impression per query when it comes to YouTube search. So because of that, since the default filtering is relevance, when you optimize for what people are actually looking for, then what ends up happening is if people respond positively to your video content, compared to the other videos for those search results, is it can, cause you to end up ranking high in YouTube search. And then from that, you can end up getting, a decent amount of traffic from YouTube search, and YouTube search traffic is usually more stable as well compared to recommendations. So, hey, quick side note, somebody's trying to break into my email right now.
Somebody tried to break into my email earlier.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happening right now. It's been happening since 8 o'clock. Since as soon as we went live. Yeah, since we've been live, like they're going hard on my channel. If you're watching this stream, let's see what you can
get in.
Let's see what you can do here.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going hard. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 password attempts just on that one, and then 1, 2 more.
While you're doing that, let me say this really quick about the emails. Services love to spam creators to tell you the things that they think that you're doing wrong, to try to get you to pay for their service in order to get them to fix it. Ignore those emails. So if that's the sort of email that's coming in where somebody's like, oh, I noticed you're not using SEO in your YouTube, ignore those people.
Yeah.
Right? SEO is very helpful using the keywords.
If you're going after search.
If you're going after search, right. If you're going after search, it's very important. At the very least, though, in your description, I would write out what the actual video is about in your description at the very least. Your title could be something more compelling, something to, build up their curiosity. It doesn't technically have to have the keyword in it, but in your description, I would make sure that I put that in there.
Yep.
But it could be people trying to just, I noticed you're not using SEO properly.
Right.
Contact us and we can help you. We can hook you up.
Yeah, so I have a tweet that I put out. It's been out for a while, so it's probably going to be hard to find. But basically, if you go to so on a regular basis, you guys know that I share links to just YouTube official stuff, right? So that you guys can better educate yourself on the things straight from the horse's mouth. So one of the things that YouTube mentions in the Google Help Docs is that, when you add keywords to your titles and your descriptions, that it just helps give context to their system, what the video could be about. So in addition to it helping people, find the content, it's also something in terms of search, it's also something that can just help the system better understand what's going on too, because the system's using all of that information plus the information that it's seeing and listening to you say in the video content itself. So it's using all of this stuff to get an idea of who the right people are to show the content to. So anything that you can do to help it along is going to be to your advantage.
Heidi, thank you so much. You just gifted a membership. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
Hey, did you catch these 2 super chats here? One of them is from One Step, and another one is from Rude Pie Guy.
Did you see them? Here. I see them right now. So let's see here. First, One Step, thanks for the super chat. Says, if I make a stream of video on demand, members only view after I stream, do I lose those live watch hours? What about members only videos? Do they get watch hours? So with members only videos, they don't count for watch time. Only public videos count for watch time. So if you're, if you have a live stream and then you make it members only, then the public watch time, because it's not going to be public anymore, so that basically gets taken away. But when it comes to the members only videos, same exact thing. So, they'll collect, you'll see watch time and stuff like that on them, but it's not stuff that you're getting, credited for, so to speak.
Next super chat from Rude Pie Guy.
Rude Pie Guy says, why Vanos
Super
Gaming is so
chat.
successful and he doesn't have a niche, or does he? So I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that channel either. But when it comes
gaming,
to, these, channels, I'm guessing because the name, I'm guessing that he has a, gaming channel.
We've talked about this before. Okay, the majority of people who get into YouTube, you come in like everybody else, you're in the trenches, you're fighting for every view, every subscriber, you're trying to get them to watch 30 more seconds of your video, and it's a struggle. There's a lot to learn. But there are some people who come onto the platform. Now, those people might come onto the platform.
Oh, yeah, this channel's crushing at 25 million subscribers.
They might come in with an audience from another platform.
Mm-hmm.
They might come in with a ton of experience.
Or they can grow from the ground up.
Or they can come in from the ground up and just naturally be good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just come in, first video, second video, knock it out of the park, and they're doing incredibly well because they naturally make everything the right way. Their thumbnail just happens to be the right thumbnail. Their video just happens to be the right thumbnail or the right video. And the audience identifies with that piece of content.
And
others
others
it's up and running right out of the gate.
Yeah, and others have to, go through the, painstaking, us mortals have to go through the painstaking part of learning how to do it.
Yeah.
So that particular channel that he mentioned, they've been on YouTube since September of 2011.
Right.
So, they've been growing that audience for quite some time. And, with the success that they have had, YouTube knows who to show their content to.
Yeah.
So, the amount of data on a 25 million subscriber YouTube channel is going to be pretty, substantial. So just like one video here, for example, from 8 years ago, 65 million views on it. So, some of these are pretty massive in terms of the view counts on them. So YouTube has a very clear understanding of who the audience is for this. And this person, they continue to put out videos that people respond to at a high rate. But this is clearly, targeted at gamers. So yeah, they definitely have a niche.
Yeah. Another thing, let me add to this, and let's give away a VidSummit ticket after that. I just want to add, don't compare yourself, and I know you're not necessarily doing that, but don't look at other channels and try to figure why am I not doing well when these other channels are doing so well? There's so many factors involved in just in regards of experience or just hitting a home run. You don't know if they're growing organically. They could be buying views. You have no idea how they're actually growing their channel. Not talking about the 25 million channel, but just in general, don't try to compare yourself to other channels.
Yeah, it's good to look and see what they're doing.
Right.
And pay attention to the channels to see if they have breakout videos that, can inspire ideas and things like that. But unless you have access to somebody's data,
right.
Unless you have back end access, all you can do is theorize on what's going on.
Right.
So, because of that, you definitely want to make sure that you're, paying the most attention to okay, how am I doing compared to how I was doing before?
Yeah.
And then looking at those other channels and seeing them if they're doing well and they're doing way better than you, seeing them as okay, if they're doing this, I know I can do it. I just have to figure out how to get my content to a high enough response that I'll be able to compete for some of the traffic that they're getting. So that's what you want to make sure that you're thinking about there.
Yep.
So yeah, let's give away a VidSummit ticket.
All right, the next word to type in, VidSummit 2023.
Here
just
we go.
The way you see it on the screen.
Here we go.
Here we go. Only type this in if you are able to go to Dallas, Texas to go in person to VidSummit. And what are the dates?
October 3rd through the 5th. It's going to be
3rd
amazing. It's
through
at
the
a
5th.
new venue. A lot of the hotels are selling out. They've had to get extra hotels. It's going to be an incredible conference this year. It's incredible every year, but it's going to be probably off the chain this year. It's going to be a really exciting year.
VidSummit 2000.
Yeah, it's going to be in Roger Wakefield's backyard, essentially, which is nice.
Yeah, I heard that Roger's having a barbecue and he's going to feed all of VidSummit.
Nice.
I don't know if that's true or not. Could be a rumor. Could be a rumor. Or he could just be handing out PVC pipe.
Yeah, hand up. Hey, everybody, here's some pipe.
Yeah.
Here's some PVC pipe for you.
Roger Wakefield. Roger Wakefield giving everybody pipe at VidSummit.
Yep.
Possible.
Let's see here. So we got to find the biggest steak in Texas. Nice, nice. Yeah, Jerry's in out there. Oh no, Jerry, are you? I can't remember. I think you're in New York. I don't think you're in Texas. Travis, MVP in the house.
Travis.
Good dude.
So
you're doing awesome. Are you going to be at VidSummit this year, Travis?
So
so.
Roger says
barbecue on him.
Barbecue
Nice.
on barbecue on me.
Nice, nice, nice.
Not literally barbecue in the backyard. Barbecue in the backyard. Travis is who we need to have on as a third person here. We need Travis up in the corner. like a little circle, like the hype man.
Just being like, yeah.
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 Legit, if I ever wanted to walk around with a hype man, it would be Travis.
Yeah.
I would choose no other person than Travis to be a hype man. With his glasses on. You seen the glasses that he streams with?
Right.
Yeah, on vidIQ. I love it.
He says, "I can come on, send me a link." We're actually getting ready. We're getting ready to head off here shortly.
This getting ended, but I would love to do that sometime. It'd be fun.
So, hey, do you want to pull this, D?
Yep. You guys ready?
Yep. Let's do it.
How many people? We have 57. All right, let's do it.
Here we go.
And by the way,
I got my fingers ready.
If you're, are you going to fire up the choppers this time?
Yeah.
Is that going to be you? Okay, hold on. By the way, if you're a StreamYard user, we're using the giveaway tool on StreamYard. You can access that by going to StreamYard.com/giveaway.
Yeah, that's how we're pulling these.
It randomizes a winner. Randomizes a winner. Okay, here we go.
Yep. Ready?
Deep breath.
Go.
Fire up the chopper. Let her rip. Go. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Oh, Alice
Turner. Congratulations, Alice. You are a winner for a VidSummit ticket. Congratulations to you. So all you need to do for this is send me a DM on Twitter. If you try to send me a DM and you can't, because if we don't follow each other, something like that, just at me and say I won the VidSummit ticket, and then I'll send you a DM as soon as I see that. So so if you can just send that over as soon as you possibly can, then once this stream is over, because it's almost 11 p.m. here, so once the stream is over, then we are done for the evening. But I'll be checking all that stuff tomorrow and getting everybody's information tomorrow for the tickets. Actually, one of them is already a winner, so I've already got their information, but I'll be getting your information tomorrow. So and then I'll be passing it on to Daryl and his team on Monday. So and then from there, it can usually take like a week or two, and then they'll get back to you with all the information that you need. But I'm telling you here live on the air with a bunch of 233 with the 224 witnesses, you are a winner. You're going to VidSummit. So if you want to go ahead and book your hotel, your your travel and all that, then you can go for that, and you are covered on the ticket. So so make sure that that you do all that as soon as possible. And for everybody else that's hanging out here, two things I want to bring to your attention. One is that here in just a second, Roberto Blake is getting ready to publish a video on his channel. So make sure that you go check that out. In addition to that, Daryl Eves is also going live on his YouTube channel here at 11:10 local time, which is 12:10 Eastern time.
So Roberto is squeaking the video in.
Getting the video in,
right,
and then Daryl's going live too. So what's going to happen is as soon as I hit end broadcast here, it's going to dump you into Daryl's notification area. So make sure you hit that notification to be reminded so you can jump back into that stream as soon as you're done watching Roberto's video. So thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. And one more thing that I do want to remind everybody of. First off, Daryl, thank you for the VidSummit tickets, helping the community out here. But in addition to that, for those of you that are just getting started in all of this, I always like to remind, people that, YouTube, it is hard. There's a lot of things that you got to learn, a lot of things that you have to, get in place. And, because of that, when you're first getting started, it can seem like, man, there's this huge mountain I got to climb. And you kind of do. But just always remember that as you're going through this process, that it's just like learning an instrument or just like learning a new skill or starting a new job or something like that, where, when you first walk into it, it's like, oh, man, which way is up? I got to figure this out. But then as you start figuring things out, it's like, oh, okay, this makes sense now. This makes sense now. And then you can start, applying more things to what it is that you're doing. You start making better videos. You start understanding your audience better and all of that over time. So because of that, don't get discouraged. If this is something that you're really interested in, just make sure that you hang in there and you keep going through the learning curve. But most importantly, when you are watching videos like mine, make sure that the information that you're hearing, that you're thinking to yourself, okay, with the things that he's saying, how can I apply that to my channel? Or does that, specific thing that he said, apply to what it is that I'm doing? In most cases it does, but not all cases. So because of that, make sure that you're keeping that in mind, but that you are, taking action on this stuff, because there's been tons of people over the years that hang out in these live streams and that watch the videos, but they don't actually apply the things that they hear. So because of that, they end up just kind of staying in that same place and then eventually stopping. So if you're somebody that is serious about, turning your YouTube channel into something, just make sure that every day, or at least every day that you can, if you are balancing it with jobs and, all that, make sure that you are trying to, not trying to, but make sure that you are building up your skill sets and that you're applying all of the different things that you're learning over time. In addition to that, while you're watching my content, supplement some of that with also watching, videos about, being a better video editor and, communicating, public speaking, those types of things. So you can also get better at all of those things, because there's all the YouTube stuff, but then there's all the skill set stuff that also goes with it. So just make sure that you are, working on all of those things. And if you do, then over time, things are going to start falling into place for you. So again, thank you so much for hanging out. And as a quick reminder, I've got a video coming out this week on AI tools.
Awesome.
It's incredible. So you definitely want to make sure that you check it out, because I show you examples of some of the amazing things that you can do with it. So make sure that you check that out. Go check out Roberto's video. Have an amazing rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time, D. Great stream.
Awesome stream, man.
Yep. See you guys next time.